Welcome to We Geek Podcast. This is April 15th, Wednesday. My name is Adam, and I have my friend Logan here.
Hello.
Hey, and we got a lot to talk about. There's so much going on. I had a crazy weekend. Not only did every TV show I liked decide to come out, I also went to MegaCon and met some really cool people like Michael Rucker. Like, that was crazy.
I'll bet. I'll bet.
Um, Sorry, what'd you say?
No, I was saying I'll bet.
Oh yeah, I had him sign my was it Yondu? Yeah, I had him sign my Yondu pop figure
Oh,
box thing.
nice.
Yeah. I saw that he was there, and I saw his line wasn't crazy. I think he just walked up there, or I don't even know. And I saw the Yondu, and it was like telling me buy this $12 Yondu thing, go have him sign it. So that's what I did, and
Please tell me you asked him about Mallrats too.
of course I did.
Yes, good man. Good man.
Yeah, and he was just like, I'm so fucking excited. Yeah, I heard him call the girl in front of me sugar tits, and it made everyone laugh. He was like, give me a hug, sugar tits. And it was just great. He was fantastic. And the thing is, get this. Okay, this is going to be a little Daredevil, a little Daredevil, I don't know what you would call it, but you know the glasses, and I guess we won't get too much into it, but you know, the oh god, how do I even say this without spoiling it? The other blind person in Daredevil it's in the show.
Right.
There's someone else who's blind. The same glasses he's wearing is exactly the same glasses that Michael Rucker is wearing. Yeah, when I saw them, I'm like, wait, those look so familiar. And then I went back and looked at pictures, and I'm like, holy shit, they're wearing the same glasses.
Nice.
But yeah, I met him. I met Ron Paulson, the Animaniacs guy.
Rob Paulson.
Rob.
Yeah.
Oh, see. Okay, so let's do that over. I met Rob Paulson, the Animaniacs guy, and it was super cool. You know, I told him big fan since, of course, Ninja Turtles, Animaniacs. He was on G.I. Joe, and everything in between. And now it's kind of full circle. He's back on Ninja Turtles again.
Yeah.
And you know, I just sat there and I had the biggest brain fart because I was sitting there. I talked to him for like 10 minutes, and he was so cool, so down to earth, and I completely forgot to take a picture with him or anything. And you know, I tweeted him like, "Hey, sorry about that." He actually tweeted me back, which was crazy.
Yeah.
He was like, "I'll see you next time. Don't worry about it."
Oh, very
but,
cool. Very cool.
Oh
indeed.
yeah, but it was totally cool. Just sitting there, and I told him, I just saw you on a podcast, not too long ago. They're kind of funny people, and he was like, oh yeah, they're great. So that was cool. And let's see, who else did I see? I saw Summer from Firefly, but I just saw her. She had her line was huge, and I'm trying to think of the guy. The other guy on Firefly, his name
Who did he play?
No, Adam Baldwin.
Okay.
Yeah, his line was right next to Summer, and her line was crazy long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw Adam, said hi to him, and Summer you couldn't go anywhere near her, and yeah, I'm trying to think who else was there. I wanted to see Norman Reedus, but he wasn't there on Sunday, so I didn't get to see him. Didn't see Stanley. I saw him before about a year or so ago. But yeah, it was just a ton of fun. I got this. I won a raffle. This print. Justin Ponser, I believe, is his name. The colorist. He does. You probably know him from Miles Morales.
Oh, okay.
Ultimate
Okay,
Spider-Man.
yeah.
He does the colors for that. He did the colors for a Muppet Avengers and Sesame Street the Justice League thing. So I got two prints of that, which is super dope. They're so
Nice.
cool. Yeah. And I don't know. It was just a fun day. Walked around, got a cool Aquaman hat. It just all the hats there was like, that looks really cool. It had the A and everything, and of course my name's Adam, so it just fit. But yeah, man, MegaCon was a blast. It's if anyone listening, you've never been to a convention like that. I brought some people that have never been to a convention. They didn't know what to expect. You know, they were walking around the floor like, or I'm sorry, before they got there, they started seeing people dressed up walking down the streets of Orlando, and they were like, whoa, like that's when it starts to become real. And then when you start walking up to the place, it was just, I felt like a translator, because I'm like, that's Firefly, that's Attack on Titan, that's Star Wars, that's an anime that I've never heard of, but I've seen before. like, like I don't even think that's an anime yet. I think that's a manga. Like, it was just, I felt like a translator for these people who were not, and granted, God bless them, they were good sports. They really loved it. They had a ton of fun. That's all they kept telling me was it wasn't what they expected. They didn't tell me what they expected, but they didn't expect that and had to have that much fun. I thought they expect to kind of be confused the whole time, and I think they might have been a little bit, but they had fun doing it. Just seeing all the different, variations of things that they knew, like the Ghostbusters and stuff like that, Star Wars and stuff like that. But it was super cool. But yeah, man, that was MegaCon. That was fun. And yeah, so we have a lot to talk about, and because of that, we'll start getting on it now. But yeah, that's why it was really a chore, but it was a good chore to have to go through Daredevil. We'll get into, and by the way, we'll talk about Daredevil at we'll do the whole TV towards the end of the show, and we'll get into Daredevil last. So we'll talk about the first 6 episodes. We won't really go into spoilers. Of course, if you want to be completely going into it with nothing, probably don't listen to the Daredevil part and come back. But we'll be spoiler free, and then we'll go into a spoiler zone, and then we'll close out the show. But we'll get in all at the end. We got Game of Thrones to talk about, Daredevil, video games like Mortal Kombat, just a ton of stuff. So I guess we can get into it. Well, before we do that, how was your weekend, Logan?
It was good. It was crazy. I had work, I had Daredevil, I had Game of Thrones, I had, I had to detox a little from the X-Files, because I got to the point where I was like, too much weird at once.
Right,
but,
yeah, man, I remember watching that years ago thinking, okay, the monster of the week is heavy, it's strong in the X-Files.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, it's that's what was super hard for me to go. I didn't even finish it. I think I finished the first season maybe, but it was really rough to go through. We are blessed these days with shows like Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones, where they're short, they keep your attention span, there's long running themes and underlying stories. But with the X-Files, it's like 7 seasons, something about bees, and I don't even know.
9 seasons. 9 seasons.
Oh God, I keep forgetting 9 seasons. That is insanity. But yeah, man, that's cool. Yeah, it was. I knew it would be busy for you. There's just so much to do, especially if you're a geek. There's so much coming out right now.
Yeah, this weekend was like the epitome of a first world problem.
Right.
Like, I have too much media of things I enjoy to watch or ingest on any device that I have at my disposal at one time. What do I do?
Exactly.
It was the epitome of a first world problem. But I love it. I think it's awesome. Like this is it's my favorite Alec Hardison quote. It's the age of the geek, baby. It really is.
Yeah, totally. We're totally spoiled. Totally spoiled. Yeah, no, I talked to some of my friends who are older than me, and they're geeks, and they're just like, you don't know what it was like to be a geek in high school when it was totally not cool, and so yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome that we live in this world we do. But yeah, man, it was fun. I guess we can get into video games first. I mean, well, let's right off the bat, Mortal Kombat X. What do you think, man?
Well, you know me, I was so hyped for this. I was, because when they revamped it, when they did 9, which was, their reboot, remake, sequel, sort of all rolled into one, and I was like, okay, this worked, because I think, what was our last one? Armageddon, I think, and it was just a cluster. I mean,
that was the one I skipped. Yeah, that was the one where I was like, and I'm with you, man. I've always been a Mortal Kombat fan. Back when it was, when 2 came out, I think I played the first one, of course, in the arcade and everything else, and even I don't think I played it at home. I think it was the second one I first started playing at home. I might have had the first one. No, actually, I take that back. I did have the first one, but it was the second one where I really started getting into it, and I
Yeah.
started actually like drawing the characters. Like I remember like Nightwolf and stuff like that. That's when it was like back when they had. I mean, they have Game Informer now, but back in the '90s when they had like 5 or 6 major video game magazines that were huge, and they would show the artwork of Mortal Kombat. That's what always got me excited. I was like, who are these characters, and what's the deal with this guy? He's got a wolf or something. He's got and it was months of anticipation, and they're kind of doing that now with Mortal Kombat. They still kind of do that where they like release a person every month or so. There's, oh, by the way, this guy's in here, and you're kind
Yeah.
of waiting for your favorite character every week or two. When you're like, who are they going to say is in it next? Is Jax going to be in it? Who is Nightwolf in it? And yeah, man, it's exciting. And that's, sorry, I went on a tangent
No,
there,
no,
but,
no, no, no. Hey, that's why we're here.
right,
But
right, but yeah, man, I've been excited just like you have. It's crazy. But yeah, man, tell me about it. What'd you think about it?
I loved it. The story was a little short. I think is really like the only complaint that I have. And make a note of that. I'm complaining about the length of the story mode of a fighting game. So we'll sit on that one for a second. But no,
Oh,
I love the mechanics. I loved a lot of people were given NetherRealm flack over the legacy characters. Not to show legacy, but like the kids of
mhm.
the original cast. You had Cassie Cage and Jackie Briggs, and you had a couple others that were related in some way to older characters. And I heard a lot of people at the midnight release were talking about, well, they just seem like they're carbon copies. They're basically palette swaps, and that couldn't be further from the truth.
Right.
They took the characteristics, but they gave them a nice blend. Cassie is Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade's daughter, and has a little of both with some extra of her own mixed in there, and they're all their own character. There wasn't everybody that was saying, oh well, they're just this or that. I was so happy that they were wrong. The roster is really robust, and of course, everybody's going to complain, well, this character's not in there, that character's not in there. I was double bummed. There's one character in there you do have to fight against, but he's not playable. And that drove me nuts because I'm a
Oh.
huge fan. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I mean, it's not really a spoiler, but I thought it was neat because I've been a big fan of this character for a while. But
Oh, okay.
so
Yeah, see, I don't know how far I am in the story. I think I'm like on chapter 5.
then
Um,
you've seen this character by
okay,
now.
I
Yeah,
think I know who you're talking about. And
yeah,
when I saw the character, I was like, "Oh, wow, they're in this. I had no
yeah,
idea." And I actually, and before that, you see some characters, you see like 2 or 3 that I'm like, "Wait a second, I never saw them playable."
yeah,
And you see them there, but you know what? The Mortal Kombat, it's one of those it's one of those franchises where they were huge, they went really bad, and it's kind of like Fast and the Furious in a way.
yeah, yeah. It
It was
is.
popular, and then it lost its it lost a little bit of its soul, I guess. That's, you could say that for Mortal Kombat, and then it gained it back fully. Like it totally,
Oh yeah,
like you said, Mortal Kombat 9 was the breath of fresh air. It was them going, you know what? We need to start from scratch, and we need to go back to the well. We need to, go back to what made us, popular, and they did. And by adding that story, I mean, I know there's so many huge Street Fighter fans, and especially because I'm not like into the fighting. You know what I mean? Like I like fighting games as much as the next person, but I'm not in that world of like of professional fight. The professional
right.
games
Yeah,
for
like
the fighting.
Evo and all of that. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly, and I know they take their fighting games very seriously. And I know they kind of Mortal Kombat's in there in the conversation, but the Street Fighters I think a little bit more popular.
oh
But
yeah,
Mortal Kombat, it's got it where I think it has a more of a universal like. This is cool. This is really dope what we're seeing here, and it grabbed that when it went back to 9. It was super good, and it caught everyone off guard. I think because you would never in a million years think, oh hey, I want to play this game for the story,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
and that's what got me with 9. And It's what got me with Injustice. And of course, I mean, we were going to play Injustice anyway. We're
But
big
yeah.
nerds. So yeah, so we were going to play that to, regardless. But even with this one, things like the crypt, like I've never seen something like that before. Where I thought, okay, it's just going to be a mapped out area where I can destroy a grave, but you're in there finding Scorpion Spear and and Sub-Zero's Frost and all this crazy nonsense, and there must be hundreds of things to find in there, and just exploring stuff, like all the extra stuff. It's super neat. It's super cool. I've really enjoyed it. I like the story so far, and I, like you said, I actually really like the new characters, like Kung Lao's cousin, Kung Jin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's super cool, like with the bow and arrow and stuff. And I heard there was going to be some with the bow and arrow, so I figured it'd be, I just said his name. Nightwolf. I figured it'd be someone with that, but no. When I saw him, I was like, okay, who is he? Because you kind of got to think some of these people have to be related to someone else, and then it made sense. Kung Lao, Kung Jin, and yeah, his character was cool. And Kenshi's kid,
Takeda, yeah.
Takeda, yeah, he's cool. I'm a huge fan of Kenshi, even though I can't pronounce his name. But well, go ahead.
What cracked me up is Takeda plays like Raiden from the Metal Gear games.
Right,
it's basically
yeah.
like they took Raiden from Revengeance and they just sort of retooled the character model.
Oh yeah, and you know what was funny? Because I just got done watching Daredevil, and I finished it, and then I went right into Mortal Kombat, and it was confusing because I didn't understand the whole. Because I thought this was one of the first games that I usually now download games instead of get the physical copy, and that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah. I found myself really enjoying getting digital and having it all there, so where like I'll have my collection, there's no way I can trade it in, and it's there for me to always just play on the whim, and I don't have to switch discs. But anyway, this was the first one that I did the pre-install. And I thought, when I read it, I've heard about, PlayStation, Xbox One, you can pre-install a game, and at midnight you can play it. And I thought, oh, great. So, it had a countdown. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I got a little bit of Daredevil left, so it's finished. I went and started playing it, and I realized it doesn't actually start downloading, I guess, in this one until midnight. So I got where it was the training mode, the single player mode, and it was still it had 30 gigabytes to download, so I didn't get Goro yet. So anyway, I started playing the single player, and I saw, oh, Kinsey, I remember him from the he was in the last one, but he was DLC, but I remember him from a few ago.
Probably Deception was probably where you remember him from.
Right, and I was playing, and I was like, oh, that's right, he's blind, just like Daredevil. It was like a great fit. The whole time I'm like, yes, this is awesome. And yeah, then story mode finally downloaded, but that was like 3 a.m, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna play a level or two, and I got Johnny Cage, and that was it. And then and one of the third battle in there, I'm like, wait a second, why am I fighting these guys? These guys should be way at the end.
Yeah,
I was like, holy crap! But hey, it was fun. And I won't say who it was, but
no.
Yeah, I was like, this is awesome. This is really cool. It definitely caught me off guard. So, but yeah, did you hear a lot of people were getting upset because you can buy, you can purchase easy fatalities if you want. You can purchase like 6 at a time, I think, or 30 for a few bucks. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's the microtransaction carried over, and at the end of the day, it's going to be what it is. This is something where if I hate to put it this way, but I am going to put it this way. If you're somebody who went out and bought this game, within the first, call it like month, if you're someone who got this full price, let me put it that way, who didn't wait until you had like a cheaper pre-owned copy or it was in the discount bin, if you went out and bought full price, brand new, this will not apply to you. This is not that crowd. And by right. Everybody else is like, I hate that it's an option, but and especially because look, this would have been a great option, 15 years ago when right. Fatalities were an absolute pain to pull off, when they were ridiculously difficult. They couldn't be much easier now.
Right,
They're simple anymore. They're not 25 commands long. They're like 4.
Oh, right. And I remember sitting at the arcade and I'm like, all right, finish him. And I do my move. And then suddenly I punch him in the face and he falls over.
Exactly.
Every time. Yeah. And I'm with you there. It's a sign of the times. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't change my gameplay. I'm sure it doesn't change yours.
No.
It's not a pay to win. Like, I mean, if you're complaining about this and you've ever downloaded an iOS game,
exactly.
what are you complaining about? Like, this isn't extra content with a K. This is like, I don't understand. Like, it's acceptable that there's day one download for I don't know how many other games like Evolve and stuff like that. But it's not that bad. Like, I mean, we all know there's download content coming with Jason and all that other stuff. They're not finished yet.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like, here it is. And I'm sorry, but if they didn't have that, it would just be like they would be behind. They would be behind in the game of this is how video games are made. This is how it is. And you know what's funny? The people that I saw complain the most about this were people that I know don't own the game and probably won't for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, you're upset about this. You still don't support their company, their game, and you'll probably play it at your friend's house. And I hope they do buy the easy fatalities and destroy you. But no, exactly. This is... People are going to get upset over the strangest things. It's not like, it's not like if they release the next Mario game and they say, here's worlds 1 through 7, but 8 day one download content you're going to have to pay for.
Oh.
That's when I would get pissed. That's when I'd get mad.
Goodbye.
If they kept the ending to this game behind DLC, if they said, oh, here's all the chapters, but the ending you have to pay for, that's when I'd be upset and be like, no, I don't support that. And that's when you would want to speak with your wallet. But this, like an easy finisher of all things, get out of here. It's just a little thing at the end that basically, it's a little thing at the end. That's it. It's nothing else. So
exactly, it has no bearing on the competitive side of gameplay. This is not, it's after the fact, and that's
right.
That's,
so this is when your little sister beats you. She can finally do that move to rip your tongue out and choke you with it. Like, that's all it is. I think it's cool. It's whatever. I don't think it's cool, but it's whatever. It's just a sign of the times. It doesn't upset me at the least, and I kind of wonder why they haven't done this before. Actually,
I have a feeling we're gonna look back on this and we're gonna say, oh yeah, this is where it started,
right?
And probably in really negative terms.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. If it was something that affected the actual match, then that would be a whole different discussion, and I think we would all be very against that, but it's not. So, I mean, get over it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I hope there's some surprises. Like Mortal Kombat 9 spoiler alerts. I liked when Sub-Zero went to like Bionic Sub-Zero.
Yeah,
that was cool. I hope something like that happens to this. It might not. I mean, even if it doesn't, it's whatever. But it's cool to see something different, because with the first one it was kind of like retelling the story, where this is like, okay, here's 5, 10, 20 years later, and even some flashbacks I thought was super cool. But yeah, one character I hated was Kotal Khan. Like, when they make you play as him, I'm like, what? His moves is sunlight the whole time. Like, what am I doing with this? Maybe I don't understand how he plays, but I'm like, why am I giving this guy a ray of sunlight? It doesn't hurt him. It just makes sunlight, and he's so slow, and I just wanted to get past that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Anything else you want to talk about with Mortal Kombat?
Just I'm looking forward to getting back into it. I had to take a break from it. I got it at midnight. I came home. It took 2 hours to install the game data, so I didn't get to story mode until like 2:30. And I plowed straight through it. No sleep, nothing. I dove through it. So I did some of the towers. While I was waiting, I did a lot of single combat, just feeling out a lot of the different characters, and then of course story mode. And so I got a pretty good taste of it last night. So I'm gonna get back into it here probably tomorrow sometime. But I recommend it If you
Oh
were
yeah.
if you were a fan of MK9 or any Mortal Kombat game in the past, if you're a fighting game fan, if you've never played Mortal Kombat but you were an Injustice fan, pick this up.
Oh
It's
yeah.
worth it. It's absolutely worth it.
Oh yeah. Did you opt for the premium one with the
No,
all the characters?
no, I don't.
Oh.
I don't need to spend an extra $30 for 4 DLC characters.
Oh, I did. I
Yeah.
did. I yeah, no,
I,
when I saw the Predator and Jason Voorhees, that's it. That's all I needed. That's all I needed to know. And I don't I think it was $20. I don't know. I forget. When I was looking at it,
it's 30.
it was 30.
It's 30.
Maybe I had $10 on my PSN PSN account. I probably did. But yeah, no. When I saw that, and I mean, it was more than that. I think you get like a costume, like you get the samurai costume pack.
Yeah.
And I forget what else, but that's probably it. I think I got a special Sub-Zero, I think. I don't know. It was like a something blue Sub-Zero. I don't know, but yeah, and then I was kind of bummed because I thought it was day one DLC, but I guess not. They're still working on, Jason and Predator and whatnot. So I don't know. It'd be cool once that drops and get to play with them in multiplayer and stuff. So yeah, we got to play some of that. I want to get through the story mode and then we'll do some online matches and whatnot. But yeah, I'm excited. Have you ever played Shovel Knight?
No, I have not.
Okay, I saw that just I think came out on the PS4. But yeah, man,
it just came out this week. Yeah.
yeah, I think it did. I played it on the 3DS like a year ago. No, when did I play it? I forget. I played it before, and it was a ton of fun. Like I never finished it because I think that's when I sold my 3DS or I forgot what happened. But yeah, I played some of it, and I think it's only like $13 on especially for PSN members. So I highly recommend that game. That was a blast last year when I played that. It was, if you've never played it before, it's like an old school like I don't know how to explain it. It's like a mixture of DuckTales and I don't even know, like just those old school kind of side scroller games that it's super hard, but I think it's only hard because they don't make games like that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's really cool, and that's like I saw a chart where where Smash Brothers did, vote who you would like in the game, and that's the number one pick by a lot. Like people really want Shovel Knight to be in there. So yeah, man, if you've never played it, get it on either the 3DS or the PSN Now, or I'm sorry, PS Plus or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, snatch that up. It's fantastic. It's like $13. It's amazing. You play anything else this week?
I played a little bit of Bravely Default before I sent that back to GameFly because I keep forgetting I've got to be in a really specific mood for JRPGs.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous game, and if I'd had the time and been in the mindset, I can't imagine how much time I could have sunk into that.
Yeah.
It's definitely one if you're looking for, if you're somebody who's like, I love like Chrono Trigger and old Final Fantasies, like, and they don't make them that much anymore. Here's your answer.
Right, and I bought that. That was one of the things I got with the 3DS.
Yeah.
And I played a little bit of it, not that much, but yeah, it's beautiful. I was shocked because when I saw like different screenshots and whatnot of it, and I was like, it kind of looks weird, like their heads and stuff. But then when I actually played it, and you see that like it's almost like a painting sometimes.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah, the attention to detail they have on some areas, it was really nice, and I really got into it. And like the whole opening part of it too was pretty cool. But yeah, no, yeah, I imagine I'll be sinking a lot of hours into that, and yeah. But I think I said last week because that's when I just got the 3DS. I got the Pokemon, I got the Bravely Default and the Zelda. So I've gotten into all three of those, and those are really huge games to get into. And I don't recommend anyone ever trying to do that at one time because it's like I play 10 or 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm done. And you don't want to play the other ones because it's not like 5-minute in and out games. They're like you sink, a half hour, hours into it, and they're good, I guess, over time. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been playing too. It's a lot of mobile games, like a lot of the 3DS games I've been playing, uh, mostly, except for, I kind of stopped with Bloodborne just because I've been playing the 3DS a lot, and I can't wait to get back into that. I feel like I get really into it and I'll play hours of it, and then I'll stop and not want to play any of it for like a week. Yeah, but it's probably because of how much stuff there's been going on and how busy I've been. So yeah, it takes a lot, but yeah, man. So that's I guess what we've been playing. Some video game news.
Uh, we've got a little Star Wars Battlefront news.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, apparently it's going to be a timed exclusive. It's going to come to Xbox One first, and then at some hopefully short future point to
Well,
PS4.
well, explain this EA access to me. I mean, from what I understand, you play the beta, kind of like they do with Battlefield. You play it for like a weekend.
I guess. I mean, what EA Access never. I couldn't get my head around it. I
Yeah.
don't know exactly what it is. Like, it seemed to me like it was their version of saying, "Hey, pay for this service because we're too lazy to put out a demo."
Right.
That's what it seemed like to me. Now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is actually something that EA did right for a change. I don't know. I haven't. Every time I try to read about this, it just keeps giving me a headache.
Yeah, maybe that's you know what? It's not our fault that it's not, easy to understand. And that's my biggest complaint. I always say with Nintendo as well. I'm always whenever I see their big events, I'm like, that's fantastic, but what the hell did I just see? And then you spend months kind of like, what is it? Like EA Access, never really understood it. It's you pay $5 a month and you get some demos. You get to play. From what I understand, you got to play like the Battlefield, like the last Battlefield game for a weekend early to kind of like beta it, and which is like you said, like a demo. So I mean, that's cool. I highly doubt that they're not going to release the Star Wars game the exact same time on both systems. That would be highly unlikely. I think if it's going to be like, oh, by the way, you get to play this game for a weekend, a month or so ahead of time, and if that kind of thing. Um, I can't imagine they don't really, which makes, I mean, unless, yeah, I don't even understand how any of that works. Microsoft had to pay a lot of money to do that, and I guess Sony probably, my thought process is Sony probably said, we don't need that. People are gonna buy Star Wars games. Like, there's, you know what I mean? Like, that's probably why they, again, maybe I have no clue what I'm talking about, but I guess this is just so confusing to begin with. What the heck? Why people would even pay for that?
Right.
But all I can think is I don't know why Sony would not do it. But the only thing I can think is that they know people are going to play this anyway. They don't need to demo it. That game is going to probably break records. I'm thinking. I saw on Twitter that the people making it are saying it's going to break the internet when they drop the trailer.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue that point.
Yeah, like, and it is. I mean, people, Star Wars. I said this a few podcasts back. Like, it's been like in every generation of video games. It kind of started around the same time video games started, and every single variation of video games that have come out since the beginning, there's always been a Star Wars game. All the way back to Atari and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
It's been along the side of it. And I think hopefully this is gonna be another one of those. Now, it might be hyped, it might be because I am in love with Star Wars, but all the things they're saying about it sound great. And the thing is, this game doesn't even excite me. It's what's next. It's an RPG that's going to excite me for Star Wars, not a first-person shooter. Anyone can do that. And I'm sure it's going to look fantastic, and that's what I think is going to be the biggest thing coming out of this game is like just how it looks and how it feels, because it's been years since we've had a Star Wars game like that. We've had an MMO and stuff like that, but we haven't had like a really meaty Star Wars game. And so I'm ready for what's next after that. I'm ready for the RPG or the game that might tie into the movies or something like that. I was excited about that last one they were going to do. I forget the name of it.
16 Oh
Right,
crap!
it
Yeah.
was a number. Yeah,
Was it like 1616 or something? I think. I don't.
1313. Yeah.
That's it. Thank you.
Right, and that looked crazy cool. And the concept, like, you're Boba Fett and you're building up the ranks. You're taking different missions from different mob bosses or
Well,
different families, and you gain all of your equipment over time, and you end up looking like Boba Fett towards the end. Like, that was cool. I loved that idea. Like, that wasn't done before in the video game world, and that's what I want to do again. I can't. I mean, I don't want to turn this into a Battlefront prediction show, but I can't imagine they're just going to go. I really hope it's not. Here's Battlefield with Star Wars characters, no story mode, just go. Like, that would be super disappointing to me.
well, but I mean that was kind of what the Battlefront series was.
Right.
I mean, I know this has changed, and we're not going to know anything until Friday. But I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be happy with whatever. I really will.
Me too.
I love the Battlefront games, but I'm with you. I think that it's not just about this, which we know everybody's going to go out and buy. We know we're going to go out and buy it regardless. We know this. But
Yeah.
It's going to signal, we're making Star Wars games again. So what's next? I agree with that.
Oh yeah, and this is the big one out of the gate for them with, like, okay, this is after the big deal with Disney and them getting the rights to LucasArts, and this is the first game to come out of that, and I really think they have to build. They've been building the hype pretty big, and the track record with Battlefield to me hasn't been that good, so it's going to be interesting. It's I don't want to be too down on it because I'm excited just as much as everyone else is, but I'm ready for that next thing. I'm ready for, give me the Jedi game, or give me the RPG or something like that. Not KOTOR, but like KOTOR. Like, I don't want to be in that time period, but I want a game like that again. So yeah. But yeah, so any other game news you got there?
We have one more, and this met with mixed reception, understandably so. We have some details now of the next new Guitar Hero game.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're getting around, and I mean they've kind of rebuilt it from the ground up. It looks like it's going to be called Guitar Hero Live, and they've rebuilt the guitar. It's not the same colors and buttons that we're used to. It's 3 frets split into 2 buttons each, one white, one black, and that's how the highway works. You've got 3 frets, and it's either the white button or the black button. So it's kind of simplified that a little bit. It means that those of us who've played Guitar Hero and Rock Band on a mildly religious level for a decade now are we're gonna have to relearn this stuff. I can't count how many hours I played. I mean, I'll put it in perspective. I almost platinumed Rock Band 2.
Wow.
To put that in understandable context.
Right.
But this is going to be something I'm going to have to relearn how to do this. What this is, and it's gotten rid of the cartooniness. It's gotten rid of all of the hey, you're your own, you're designing this character in a guitar. No, it's you are the guitar player in a band, and it's reading the some of the preview details about it. It's like the way that they shot all of these scenes. It was like being on a film set. It's real people in a real band with real crowds that they are. Depending on your performance, the crowds react accordingly, because we're at a place now where you can do that with live action footage, and it doesn't look unnatural. It's different. It's big time different in that aspect. And they also talked about there's also a mode, a kind of a more traditional-ish mode, if you will, to play along with streaming music videos. They're going to have a library of some kind. There weren't a lot of details, but that's going to function kind of as the multiplayer component
Oh, that's
of
cool.
the game, to say, okay, here's, and you're just playing over the music video.
Right.
It's like karaoke in a sense, but
Yeah.
with guitar. And I know uh, it's not like Rocksmith or and I think there was one more that tried to do the same thing, like learn to play guitar along with these. It's not that. It's going back to Guitar Hero, and I'm excited for it. I am, because
Right.
I was a huge fan of both franchises. I didn't pick a side in the Rhythm Wars. I liked them both.
Yeah,
But
it's more the arcade versus simulator. And
yeah,
that's cool. That's
yeah,
yeah. When I saw the video and I thought it was cool. They attached a camera basically to a guitar, and I think they were like the real band. What I saw that is that they were like every time you do the song, it's not going to be the same clips. Like
right.
they filmed a bunch, and what I thought was cool is they were talking about like what they wanted to do with like Project Morpheus and stuff like that. Like imagine putting on the VR headset, playing the guitar and looking around and seeing the crowd
Yeah,
in 360 degrees. That is going to be insane. Now that's not with this game or anything like that, but that would be super cool in the future. To like just basically feel like you're there.
yeah.
And yeah, no, I mean, I think I said it a few podcasts back that Guitar Hero, we heard rumblings it was coming back. We knew it was going to come back, and I'm kind of excited for it. It hit big, and it was there for a few years, and then it went away. And I don't even know why. Like I think it was because too much paraphernalia hanging around the house, like the the drum set and the different kind of guitars and the microphone, and it was like all this stuff in people's living rooms. I remember I lived out by UCF at the time, and like our whole living room was Rock Band and Guitar Hero stuff for a while, and like it got weird, and,
Yeah.
and then we slowly stopped playing it to the point where it was just the guitar, that because you just play the guitar, not when you're with a group of people. And so yeah, it's gonna be cool to bring that back. I have a lot more room now
There
because I'm in
you
a
go.
house, so I can kind of put the guitar in a closet or something when we're not playing it. But
Now it'll be interesting to see, because we know they're making a new Rock Band.
Right.
We've had Harmonix come out and say, "Oh yeah, we're doing this," but we don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that compares. Since we're going to have a second Rhythm War now, it's going to be interesting to see how. I mean, they were the same game. Let's not kid ourselves. By the time, we got to, we had 3 Guitar Heroes before they decided to include drums and vocals, and so Rock
Right.
Band kind of had that edge from the beginning. Of
well,
having,
I think Rock Band. Well, Guitar Hero for a while they didn't actually have the real songs, right?
right, they
And
were
then
all
they
covers.
started to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was Rock Band that came out was like all real music backed by MTV for some reason because they don't have any music on their channel anymore. But yeah, I remember that. And then I mean, you need competition, so it's nothing but a good thing. And I hope the guitars are interchangeable. I mean, I can't imagine they're not. Were they
we'll see.
with Rock Band and Guitar Hero?
Eventually.
Yeah, I
It-
think
it-
they have to be with this time around. I mean, I can't imagine them being like, I imagine them being like, buy our guitar, but they have to be like, okay, you can use yours if you really want to. I don't know. I can't. I hope they don't go down that road where they're like, you need this to play this game. I think they would sell a lot more copies if they were like, you have that guitar, fine, buy our game for $60.
Yeah, it's all right now. It's just all going to depend on how they work.
Yeah.
We've seen how the Guitar Hero peripheral is going to work, but like I said, we know nothing about Rock Band. So I mean, it who knows? It may run on a completely different kind of thing. It may have to be designed differently because they made the gameplay different. And that's who knows? And I'm of two minds of that. I'm part of I could plug in whatever I liked my Rock Band guitar, and I could by the time we got to like the 5th Guitar Hero, they were finally interchangeable. You
Right,
could use
yeah.
that.
They had like
Yeah.
Beatles and Green Day and like different like whole games based on that. And what I hope they do this time around is they do what Destiny does, where they build instead of just a game and then come out with another game a year later, they build more of a platform where they go, here's the game and the guitar, make it $100 if you have to, whatever, put it all out at once, and then a year from now do $30 DLC. Okay, here's 60 more songs.
Rock Band did that essentially,
Right.
especially towards the end. Like they worked with they had Rock Band, what was it, Rock Band Network, I think,
Right.
where they would do, like every week there was another 3 or 4 songs up to
Right.
download. So they
And do that.
yeah, they kind of did that with Rock Band 2 and moving into Rock Band 3. They made
Yeah.
it more of a platform.
That's what they need to do. That's what I mean. That would get me, because I mean, I just like everyone else, I played them, but I wasn't too into them. We had, we ended up getting the whole set or whatever for Rock Band, but I wasn't as into it as a lot of other people were, and I just, this time around I want it to be like that, where it's like, oh, okay, I can buy that whole album for $5 or whatever, and I can play it in the game. That old, Green Day Dookie album. It's $5. Here you go, or $10, or whatever it would be. Enjoy. Here's the whole album. That would be cool. Make it like a platform, and not, oh, here's a $60 game with 5 songs that you like, and the rest your father likes.
Yeah.
It's I don't want to do that again. And then, oh yeah, here's the second game that's gonna come with, you gotta buy it with a guitar this time, and it just got too much. But yeah, it's cool. I'm excited for it. I don't want to be down on it too much, but yeah, man. And when I heard about the Morpheus, that's gonna be cool. That kind of like made me sit back and go, I could see that being really cool. And
Yeah.
and before, I mean, I'm not sure if there's any other game news, but one thing that I heard that stood out to me is when, I forgot what podcast I was talking to. You know how they were saying, the game that's always been, people have been saying they want to come out, and I mean, it's not me because I never really got into the other two, but Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2, everyone's,
Oh god.
the third one. When is it coming? It's kind of like it's a joke. It's been
Yeah.
a joke for years, or people are like, Half-Life 3 confirmed. Like, it's
Except-
never
yeah.
gonna happen. But what I heard was like, oh, that makes sense. That, what if Valve was waiting for Half-Life 3 for the headsets? For like, and that makes sense. It makes total sense.
I think it may wind up being like that, just because by the time Half-Life 3 actually does come out, everybody's going to have like their 3rd generation VR headset.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, that makes sense. Half-Life 3D or some stupid tag on it. Like it has to be that. I was like, that makes a lot of sense. And I think they were in the same conversation with Guitar Hero, and I thought that would make a lot of sense. Like, if you were able to look around the room and feel like you're on stage, and that's the thing about Guitar Hero, is you don't move, you just stand there. So that would be the perfect VR headset game. And you don't look at your guitar, you don't see your guitar, but you see it when you look down on, in the game. That would be cool. That would be super cool. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
So anything else with games before we move on?
No, just that Half-Life 3DS confirmed.
Yeah, Half-Life 3DS. Oh, they're gonna have a Guitar Hero thing on the. They had a Guitar Hero on the 3DS, I believe. Or
They had to, yeah, they did. They had part of World Tour on the 3DS. It had its own little. Oh yeah, God, that's.
oh, they could do a flute game. No, I'm just kidding. Don't even give them ideas.
Oh God, Accordion Hero was my favorite parody that I thought somebody would. Somebody
Right, Weird Al
actually would.
Yankovic's Accordion Hero would make perfect sense. That I would actually get that game.
I would pre-order that. I would. I absolutely
Right.
would.
Play the saga begins with it, but yeah. All right, man. All right, let's move on to movies. What's some movie news?
We got a lot of movie news.
Right.
Some of it important, some of it disappointing, some of it disheartening, and some of it I wish wasn't news. And I want to start with one of those.
Okay.
Because you've got the same notes I do, and I'm gonna kind of go in order down these, I think.
Yeah.
So you can see where I'm going with this.
Right.
We have
Yeah.
we had a trailer drop today for arguably the most anticipated movie of 2015 in select neighborhoods, and it will be released direct to Crackle. Which
Wait, that was a trailer?
Yeah.
And wait, Crackle?
Yeah.
What?
Yes, they instead of a direct to video or a direct to VOD, it is direct to Crackle. At some point, summer 2015, Joe Dirt 2 is coming.
Wow. And
Uh,
wait, I gotta back this up a little bit here. Crackle?
yes.
What the hell is Crackle's like an app, right?
Yeah, essentially, Crackle is
What?
like like Diet Hulu light caffeine free.
I don't
Essentially,
even know what to say.
yeah.
Like, I thought directly to Yahoo was bad, for community, but Crackle?
Let me say this: the only other thing that I know that is like a Crackle exclusive is they do a sports Jeopardy.
What?
Yeah,
What?
they do
This is just weird.
They do a sports specific Jeopardy. There's always been a game. I remember back as far as the Super Nintendo. There was a sports Jeopardy. And I was like, okay, fine. And then what? Like, I don't know, 6 or 7 months ago or something, I saw a commercial on During Jeopardy. And it's like Sports Jeopardy airing now exclusively on Crackle. And I was like,
Wow.
holy cow.
No, like you're gonna tell me what Mask 2 directly to Ustream. Like it just makes no sense. Like, but anyway, I mean, who's excited for this movie though? I mean, Joe Dirt actually was that one of the Billy Madison movies?
Maybe. I mean,
Okay,
It
if
is
if it
now.
was one of the best, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
Because I'll just say it,
Yeah.
I do not like Billy Madison movies. I liked Grandma's Boy because it didn't have Adam Sandler in it, and it had its funny moments, but that's about it. I don't like any really of the other ones. The other ones, they exist and they're there and they're for people who like them, and that's all I'll say about it. But the rest of them, I could care less. Joe Dirt though was actually not that bad. That was one that I watched and I was like, okay, I get it. But to make a second one, where do you even go with that? Like,
Back in Time, actually.
what? What?
His
Didn't we tell his whole story? Oh wait, no, he actually goes in time, like through time.
his family travels back to the recent past is the way they described it. I put my head through a wall. I have a Logan's head shaped hole in the wall here after I watched the trailer and read what this was doing because I thought this is getting made. Whether or
Wow.
not it's not going to be wide release or any of this, I don't care. It's getting made.
It's probably so they could put Christopher Walken and some other characters back in it.
Yeah, but I mean, is his career that bad? Oh
No,
wait, he
no,
did
well,
Peter
no,
Pan
no, I
Live.
mean,
Yeah, it is.
He's obviously doing some favors. That's what I'm thinking.
I-
But this is well, that's okay. I
So
guess I'll
somebody-
see it
I-
on uTorrent or something.
I mean, I guess that David Spade has some really compromising photos of somebody high up the chain somewhere. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the Billy Madison. I mean, like Adam Sandler. I remember my older brother had like Adam Sandler, was it a CD, and it was like him getting beat up or something on a bus. He had like comedy CDs.
Yeah.
Back when they
Oh, yeah.
made comedy skit CDs.
Yeah.
And I remember listening to that going, well, this is kind of funny. And it had the Turkey Thanksgiving Day song. But again, I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and anything at that age when you're singing about turkeys and a bus driver getting beat up is funny. But like, I can't imagine adults thinking like that. But then again, we're talking about comic books and video games. But no, like, I don't get that kind of humor. It is totally lost on me. I don't know how they're. It's because Adam Sandler's rich. He got really, really rich, and now he's kind of just making movies with his friends, which I guess is cool.
But they
That's
all
great.
Suck.
They all suck. No, they're all bad. They're all bad.
But hey, I
would like to make a lot of movies with my friends, even if no one watched them but me and my friends. So that's the only thing I guess I could.
There you go. And that's what, when you get to be
Good for him.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, man, I don't begrudge him any of this. He wanted to make Jack and Jill because he hit his head really hard on something, and so he went and he made it. And that's
Wow.
as much as I as I malign that movie, deservedly so. The fact of the matter remains, he actually made that. And what feature film have I had released in theaters lately?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, the way I look at it, like, some of my not a lot of them, some of my friends really like those movies. I'm like, that's great. Like, it doesn't change anything to do with my movie going experience because I don't see them. So I mean, there's there's got to be something for everybody, I guess. And hey, for those people out there, you're getting another Joe Dirt movie where you get a what they had firecrackers, and I don't even know. I totally forget what happened in that movie. Like I remember that. Just I don't even know. I don't that he I don't know. He almost had sex with his sister. I don't even know. Like Brandy or whatever. It's
just between him and Eugene on The Walking Dead, there's a big concerted push to bring back the mullet. I think that's the most disturbing thing going on here.
I love Eugene's character on The Walking Dead. I love how awkward, southern, and funny he is. Just it's such a weird, strange combination. He talks really well, but he's really southern. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like he's really awkward. I don't know. I like
see, and here I was gonna try to put flyers up around town, but living in the middle of North Carolina, I don't think anybody's gonna be listening to us now.
Right? Yeah, no. They're making fun of our Joe Dirt.
The views expressed on the other half of this podcast do not reflect those of the local contributor.
Right, exactly. And like I said, hey, to be fair, Joe Dirt to me was if it is a Billy Madison movie, it's the best of those films because that one I didn't actually want to gouge my eyes out at the end. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's there for people that like it. I'm sure a lot of people who see the Billy Madison films go, another superhero film? Do we really have to have that? These are so kiddish. Why, there's people out there that don't like that either.
A fair point. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm sure that's the other side of the coin. So, but speaking of superhero movies, we have a lot of them. News. So yeah, go into it. What do you want to talk about next?
We've got a ton of superhero and adjacent movie related news. Captain Marvel, the Captain Marvel movie, Marvel is reportedly in talks. Yeah, here's one for you. Marvel is talking to people about writing the Captain Marvel movie. They're trying to court Nicole Perlman, who was one of the co-writers for Guardians of the Galaxy, and Meg LaFave, who wrote Pixar's Inside Out. They're trying to get them to co-write, because I think they've each written a treatment. And Feige really liked both of them, so he's trying to combine them both. That was the way that I understood it from what I read.
They're both great writers. I mean, I just saw the trailer for the Inside Out, and I really liked it. I mean, Pixar always knows how to do great films, especially the animated kind. But
Cars too.
Yeah. No, see, I didn't. Okay, I'm sorry, but you take all of their films.
You're not going to bat
other
1,000.
Studios. Yeah. You're not gonna. You're not gonna. But if you compare it to other studios that release how many films they do, comparingly, they're really good. And they're. I said a few minutes ago, like an idiot, especially their animated films. That's all they make. But I'm saying like they do them well. Like they set the bar high. Now, of course, over the last few years. You get Cars, I don't even know, Planes 3 or whatever the hell they're releasing. Yeah. But I'm talking about like Up, for example. Like movies like that. Like I didn't expect to like it, and I was like, wow, first 8 minutes of that film kills you. And like the trailer for Inside Out, when you're seeing the inside of these people's heads, you're like, yes, this is hilarious. So that's good news. I mean, of course, Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, another thing. This is another thing I just thought of. But just remembered one of my friends. She went and saw Stan Lee, and people were asking a bunch of questions and whatnot, and they were like, you know how he does a cameo in everything,
right?
Every Marvel thing. He did one actually in Daredevil. I don't know if you saw it.
No.
It's very hidden.
Missed it.
And we'll talk about that when we get into the Daredevil spoilers.
Man.
Yeah, no, it's very hidden in Daredevil. Like Easter egg, I basically have to tell you where to look and you'll see him. But yeah, so people were asking, what's your next cameo? And the thing is, and it's kind of sad, he's doing a lot of them for movies that are not even out yet. Because he's just getting up there in age.
Right,
so he's doing a lot for the next, however many years. And when they said, what's the next one you're going to shoot? And he pointed at someone dressed up as Captain Marvel. So that's the next cameo he's going to be shooting.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Yeah. So, or that's what I believe she said. So, I mean, I could be mixing it up.
And I mean, the thing is that makes sense.
It
It's
does.
it's
Yeah,
a
it totally does.
yeah.
I would not be shocked, and please don't get mad at me. I don't think this is a spoiler because I haven't read this. This is just if I was Marvel, we all know Ant-Man's coming. We all know what's after that, like
Cat.
4 or 3.
I think isn't Civil War coming?
Civil War. So we all know that's coming, but the next big character is what?
Black Panther.
Okay, it's Black Panther. Okay, yeah, I guess Captain Marvel is a ways out. Then never mind. I was gonna say I would not be shocked if Captain Marvel doesn't make a cameo in either Civil War, even Avengers 2, or Ant-Man or something like that in the next few years. So it
The
wouldn't be out of this possibility if they start doing cameos in movies.
Well, here's the thing, and you got mad at me about this a couple episodes ago.
Oh.
There was talk that we were going to have a Captain Marvel cameo in Age of Ultron. That has since been debunked.
Oh,
So
okay.
I can go ahead and mention that. So that
Oh,
was
okay.
kind of the thought because they had, we've cast these two actresses in unspecified roles. They're not going to
Gotcha.
be major roles. And then somebody was saying, oh well, they've already cast Captain Marvel. They're just keeping it hush hush and so on and so on. But apparently they've come out and they've said no Captain Marvel in Age of Ultron. No.
Oh, okay. Because I would not be shocked if Stephen Strange pops up or Captain Marvel or any of that, or just mentioned because we've already had Stephen Strange mentioned.
Yeah. Oh my God,
Um,
I freaked when they did that. I bounced out of my seat when
right?
he was like reading off those names. Oh, I lost my mind.
Oh yeah, yeah, same here. And my friend next to me who doesn't read the comics was like, "What?"
Who?
It's the way I compare going to see superhero movies with my friends, and this is not negative whatsoever. And I'm not trying to say it in a negative way. Because it's not. It's totally not. But it's like going to a Pixar movie with a kid where they love it. They totally enjoy it. But there's that other layer that I understand that they don't. And that's like what it's like going to these kind of films with someone who's not fully invested in that, medium. Where I am, they put those things in there for me. They put those things in there for you, where it's like Stephen Strange, and it's just a name, where the other person's just smiling and like, oh, I'm having a great time. And I'm like, oh my God, losing my mind. And they're like, I don't understand. It's kind of like the dirty jokes Disney movies puts in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I get that. I totally get that reference where the other person might not. So like I said, it's not a negative thing at all. Like, and I love my friends who are like, wait, who's that? Wait, what did you why did you get excited about that? And then we'll have a 30-minute conversation on the way home where I'm like, okay, so this is what Doctor Strange is and how he got his ability.
Yeah.
And we go
There you
into
go.
it, which is the whole point of them doing that. It
Exactly.
doesn't take much to write a comic book character's name inside of a script. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
and in little things like that goes such a long way when it's sprinkled throughout the film. Just like when Winter Soldier grabbed that when he had that shield in his hand, I lost my mind. I
Yeah.
was like, yes, that's great, that's fantastic. But yeah, man. So yeah, with back to Captain Marvel. But yeah, dude, I'm excited, and I've said I've been saying this since I heard Captain Marvel is going to go into Inhumans. They have to show Miss Marvel in there with Khan. I think that would be totally cool. Such a lead-in. It's perfect. So I that's the kind of stuff I'm really excited for. I can't wait because we've seen Iron Man and Thor and Captain America a bazillion times. I can't wait to get into the Black Panther, into Doctor Strange, and Captain Marvel, and Inhumans, and just shit that most people have heard passing briefly. I can't wait till we get into that, and then we'll get into Daredevil in a little bit. But that's another character who, so underrated. When you go and look at like the writers that have been on Daredevil, we'll get on that in a little bit. But like, talk about an unsung hero. You know what I mean? Like, talk about someone under the radar for years. I think.
It was
but
it was almost like nobody saw him.
Yeah, exactly.
I know,
Yeah.
file, I'll file that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's been great, and we'll get into the comic stuff and the comic stuff about because I've actually been as soon as I did that, as soon as I watched that show, I went in and I was like, all right, I need to read some Daredevil. Like I need more of this.
There you go.
And I went and started with Mark Waid, and because I heard he's written Daredevil longer than anyone else, and I heard his run is just pure, like the whole way through good. There's not a sour part. And I've been, like I said, I've mentioned them before. I listen to Talking Comics podcasts, and they've mentioned it. They don't mention it all the time because it's one of those things where it's like this thing's so good. We can't talk about it every week, or we wouldn't be able to introduce you guys to new books. It's one of those things. Whenever they bring it up, they're like, yeah, we're reading this. Of course, we all know it's good. We won't go too much into it, but they'll go on to new stuff. So I went back and started reading the Mark Waid, but yeah. So anyway, Captain Marvel. but yeah, I'm excited. What other movie news is there?
We'll stay on the same track for a minute. We had
Okay.
Kevin Feige come out and talk about Spider-Man, about
Okay.
the reboot. It will be Peter Parker.
Yeah.
It will
Glad
be
to
high
hear
school
that.
age Peter Parker. And so that's kind of
Confirmed
that,
now.
really. Yeah, like that's all we know. But just to kind of put all of that to rest. Like
Well,
that,
I did read that he did say it's not going to be an origin, like you said,
Right.
totally not an origin. So, I mean, I think we said that a few weeks ago. We knew that they could not do another origin. There can't be another Spider-Man origin. If they do that, I'm out. And so
well, I mean, it's been done and it's been done, and I mean, we know it. We
Yep.
know it by now.
And that's what they said. They know that Marvel has their finger on the pulse. They know that. And what I read is that we're getting away from the origin. We're going a little bit more towards stuff they haven't explored, like, comedy a little bit. And I can't wait for that because Peter Parker is witty. Like they need to get someone who's witty.
Yeah.
That's key to me. It's going to be hard to get someone that age range to be witty. I mean, the last person that age range that really made me laugh was Jonah Hill. And, as much as I would love a Jonah Hill Spider-Man movie, as much as I would kill for that film, it's not going to happen.
I hope not.
Yeah. So but yeah, they have to get someone that
Yeah.
that gets the humor, and
No,
I'm excited. I mean, he's gonna be thrown into, what is it, Civil War. He's already going to be existing in the universe at
Right.
that point. And there's hardly any characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or whatever you would call it now, TV universe as well, that has a mask on. I mean, Daredevil's probably it. So, I think they have to introduce Spider-Man. Maybe he comes a little bit sooner, who knows? Maybe he's, in one of the next before Civil War. I mean, I don't know. What's before Civil War? Like Ant-Man, um Black Panther, or I don't know.
No. Black Panther's after Civil War.
Oh, okay.
Because he's going to be introduced in Civil War.
Maybe we see Spider-Man somewhere in this Age of Ultron movie. Who knows? But I'm sure he'll be mentioned or something like that. He might even be in one of these Netflix shows. Who knows? He would fit perfectly in one of these Netflix shows as like a guest character, or like someone that pops up. I could totally see them weave out. I don't even know how the deal works with Sony, but I could totally see them. He's got to be one of the characters that were like, I can't show my face. It can't just be Daredevil. And I guess Black Panther. That was the original. Weren't they? They were hoping they'd get Peter Parker, but the deal didn't go through, so they wrote with Black Panther instead. And now they've gone back and rewrote it with Spider-Man in Civil War, right? Or did I read that somewhere? Or am I totally off base here?
I don't know. I didn't. They may have. I mean,
Yeah,
that
I'm
may
thinking
been
they
a
have to.
possibility.
I mean, that's what I read at first, was that they were hoping they were going to get Spider-Man. Then the deal didn't look like it was going to go through. And then, the ball fell out with Sony. They had to do something to get the public's opinion of them.
We need good press.
Yeah, and they were like, well,
anything.
what can we do? And they were like, let's give people what they want. Let's just let Marvel put them in their films for a little bit, and actually, this might lead into some other news that I don't see on the list here, and I'll mention it briefly, but I saw that Mark Ruffalo mentioned why there's no standalone Hulk movie. Hulk.
Well,
Hulk. Yeah,
why
why am
did
I saying
he
Hulk?
say? Yeah.
Yeah, and granted, it's just an actor talking about it. He might not know the full details of the legal, whatever. But he said there's no Hulk movie. Why am I saying Hawk? Hulk movie because Marvel actually doesn't have the rights to do a standalone movie. That he is in the Avengers films, and I guess there's some issue with Universal still having the rights to do standalone films. Now, how true is that? Who knows? He
Well,
might have just overheard his.
well, what did they have to do with the Incredible Hulk, though?
Right? Yeah. See, I don't know. It makes no sense to me. Didn't Marvel do the Incredible Hulk?
I mean, they were. I mean, it was. I don't think Universal has rights. I don't remember because I think they did Ang Lee's Hulk. I think, but I don't think they were involved with the Incredible Hulk. I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, here I'll read to you exactly what his quote is. Um, as far as a Hulk movie, a standalone Hulk movie, Marvel doesn't really have the rights to that yet. That's still Universal's property. So there's that issue. That's a big impediment to moving forward with that. Now, I don't think that's insurmountable, by the way, but I don't know where it's going from here from me.
Huh.
So that's his quote. And again, he says, sometimes these things happen at the last minute in this world. I really don't know where I fit from here on out because they're talking about, you would fit perfectly in a Guardians of the Galaxy film. And he was like, sometimes things like that happen last minute. I don't really know where I fit. He has signed on for, I guess he has 6 more films.
Six
So
more or six total?
I don't have that number in front of me. It's from what I was reading earlier. He assumes he's going to be in the next 2 Avengers films,
Right.
but he doesn't know where he's going to be in between that. And he said, he's going to space. Yeah, I mean, there's some talk of maybe Planet Hulk. So basically, the question was, I'm not even sure Marvel has decided where Hulk even is right now. Talking to IGN, Ruffalo said, well, he's going to space. Well, maybe we should put a spoiler on this. Jesus Christ. So I guess he's kind of admitting they're going to send him to space.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
there's been talk of doing a Planet Hulk movie because it's kind of the only
It's the only one.
standalone Hulk story that would be really captivating.
Right. They can't do another Hulk movie where I'm fighting with my inner demons and I get no enough of that. Like
Yeah.
we've seen that twice. We've seen that with some really great actors and it's not good. It's not a yes, give us Hulk in space with aliens and saving a planet, Great, yeah, do that. That's fantastic. Put him with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, mix some shit up. Like, it doesn't have to be exactly Planet Hulk. You know, it can be like a crossover type film. Who knows where they could go with that? But yeah, something totally different like that would be fantastic. So yeah, I mean, hey, if he's going to space, fantastic. But yeah, I saw that earlier and I thought that was strange because I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, no,
Universal doesn't have the rights, but
well, Universal did distribute the Incredible Hulk.
okay.
So I don't know if maybe they still have distribution rights. I mean, I don't because I don't,
Yeah.
I don't know specifics of of those arrangements, but I would think that if they owned the rights, then he wouldn't have been able to show up at all, really.
Right.
The way
yeah.
that I understand these kind of things, but I'm no expert. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think the reason they haven't done a standalone Hulk movie is because neither of the last 2 have really done that well.
Right. Yeah. No,
Considering.
it's true. It's true. Yeah. I don't think Universal would want to continue with that, even though he's best in an ensemble. He totally is. He was one of the standout things from Avengers, like
Absolutely.
the scenes with him and Thor, and then playing off of each other and like just hitting him, and like everybody remembers that last scene where Loki's just like, "I will not have by some oath," and he slams him over and over, and he's like, "Puny God." It was perfect.
Yeah.
Like you could not have wrote a scene like that better and make the audience just like, hell yeah, that's what we want from our Hulk. Like he's perfect playing with those characters, and I personally think, especially Thor, like that's when you get these 2 brutes just going at it and just smashing everything with their hammers and fists. So So yeah, like I could totally see that. I could totally see that. So, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. It's Mark Ruffalo. He loves playing the character. He does it well. He probably just doesn't know the ins and out of it. You know, he, so it's whatever. But I saw that news there, so I thought that was interesting. But yeah, what else? What else we got on the
Well,
plate?
we were talking about things. Of
Oh,
course,
okay.
we have the first promotional image of the Thing from the upcoming Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, I didn't
Uh,
see that. Does he look like the Thing?
He looks like the Thing, big
Oh,
whoop.
okay.
It's all CG. It's not a suit. It's all CG, and yeah, he looks like he's made of like brownish orange rocks. It looks like the Thing. Big deal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Like
brought up
some
a picture here. Yeah, he looks like the Thing. He's a
yeah.
little more rocky, but hey, whatever. It's like
I'll, I'll I'll take that over like all the I didn't like what I called Tetris Thing, like where he all fit together. Like I like the idea of like he's got some jagged edges to him.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He does. He's a little more jagged than he is in the comics. But hey, they're doing a more realistic, take on the Fantastic Four. As much as you can get realistic, we've talked about that before. But yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely looks more like someone shoved some rocks together and was like, okay, now you're the Thing.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. No, it looks like him. I mean, it looks cool.
Yeah.
I dig it.
And we'll stick with Fox for a minute, because X-Men Apocalypse doesn't have a bloated enough cast. They now have Psylocke.
Okay, when does an X-Men film not have a bloated cast?
Well, I mean, this one takes the cake.
Did you see X-Men Origins? Like,
Yeah,
I
unfortunately.
mean, it had like half the cast of Lost in that, I think, or maybe I'm going crazy. No, it
But I
had
mean, how
Charlie.
many?
But
How many X-Men do we have for X-Men Apocalypse? I mean, we have
well,
everybody from First Class. We have everybody from. I mean, we basically have everyone who's ever played an
no, no,
X-Men.
no, no. They're not. They're no. I mean, I don't even think is Wolverine gonna even be in this. I heard he's not. Like,
Okay, so that's one.
well, no. I mean, I heard this is gonna be more of a first class film. Like the last one was kind of like, hey, you guys still liked the old guys? We're gonna put them in here too for a little bit. And this one I heard is way more first class. It's gonna be in the 80s, so you can't have
No, but we're
the
going to
older
have young
actors.
versions of those
Yeah,
characters.
yeah, younger, and I'm okay with that. I mean,
But I mean, that's still my point. You still have all of these characters. Like First Class was a stretch when you had, you had what, like 7, 8 core characters that you had to care about. The first, the actual class, and then the villains and whatnot. But now you've got just that many with the X-Men. I mean,
right.
ugh.
Well, I mean, this casting, I think we all knew she was going to be in the film, though. The character, not necessarily the actress. Like when I was reading about who they wanted, we all knew Gambit was going to be in there from day one. We knew Gambit, of course, Apocalypse, of course. We knew with the First Class they would have to put Jennifer Lawrence back in it, and Professor X, and and then we read that they were going to do younger versions of Nightcrawler. We know Beast is going to be in there because of First Class. Um, we all assume Wolverine's going to make a cameo at least. He has to. And who else? Like, what? Oh, one thing I did see. Angel. Did you see his concept art?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
did.
looked cool. I thought it was a cool take on it. I mean, that's one of those characters where he's made for the comic books. Like
Yeah, but I
it
mean,
looks super cool in the comic books. That's one of the most vivid characters from the 90s that I remember as a kid is seeing Archangel.
yeah,
And just how
in
the
particular, yeah.
purple and the pink and the wings. I remember that Angel before I realized he was like a regular human and everything, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like when I got into X-Men, that's what Angel looked like. And I was like, oh, this guy looks so cool. And then I found out, oh, he was a regular human that looked boring as shit with just regular wings. But yeah, so that concept is going to be super interesting when it comes to the
But
film.
I mean, just listen to the rundown of just characters that we have in Apocalypse. We have Mystique, we have Jean Grey, We have
Sophie
confirmed.
Turner. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Hey man, I'm all for it. But I'm just saying. I mean, we've got Magneto, Quicksilver, Beast, Apocalypse, Xavier, Psylocke, Angel, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Storm, and Jubilee. I'm like, that's my God, man. If I run out of
Jubilee, man.
if I run out of breath running down the part of the cast that we're expected to be invested in, it's too many.
Well, it's almost two teams. Like, that's what it seems like. And maybe they should. I honestly think they should. When they do the X-Men films, and I know Fox wants to do what Marvel. Everyone's trying to make their own cinematic universe now.
Look how well that worked.
Even
for
we got Ghostbusters cinematic universe. So what I think Fox would be great doing is just do what they did in the comics. Have two separate X-Men films. Two different teams, mix them up a little bit. That would be cool. See different people play off each other, but have kind of two different stories going moving forward, so you don't have 24 characters in one film.
Thank you.
I know, I totally agree with you. It's, have even, if you split this in half, it would be 10 characters each, and that would be a little bit more manageable than that many characters. So I totally agree with you. And this is what they did in the comics. X-Men was so popular. There were so many characters coming from it. It was its own line pretty much at one point. Like, X-Men overruled everything at Marvel.
Well, and
you can have two. That's why they did it. They had the blue team and the gold team. They had so many popular characters, they split them up, and they still do that to this day. You have all new X-Men, and you have Uncanny X-Men, and
you have X-Men, and you have. I mean,
yeah. No, I totally agree. There's now
like
it's
six.
Avengers.
Yeah.
Avengers overtakes now. I think Avengers has turned into the X-Men just because Marvel simply owns the rights to them. You have Uncanny Avengers, you have Secret Avengers, you have New Avengers, you have all New Avengers.
You have Avengers.
I don't even know. Ultimates. You have so many different variations. So I totally agree, and that's one thing Marvel has kind of done very well with their films is they have character films, and then they all come together for the Avengers. And I've never seen an ensemble superhero film I guess there hasn't really been an ensemble superhero film, but when I first thought of Avengers, that's going to be really cool to see them on screen, but how the hell could they tell an interesting story with that many characters? And they did it well. They did it better than I think anyone would give them credit for. Because now we see these characters play off each other, and they do it so well with Robert Downey Jr. and Evans and everything, and Chris, with Chris Evans and everything. And it's gonna be because Fox just hasn't done that. I mean, I thought First Class was pretty good, and I actually really liked the last X-Men film. I really liked that, but you also it was like Wolverine was spending time with different characters. They weren't all on the screen at the same time. Wolverine was hanging out with 3 characters. He would leave them, he'd hang out with 3 more, he'd leave them, he'd hang out with 3 more. And it was okay. I really liked the last one, so I don't know. And that's another thing, Wolverine is going to be gone soon. I'm curious who they're going to replace him with.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how they do that.
Yeah, because who do you think's going to go first? You think Robert Downey Jr. is going to leave Iron Man, or you think Hugh Jackman's going to leave X-Men?
Hugh will leave X-Men first, guaranteed.
Oh, really? Damn.
Well, just because we have Downey through Avengers: Infinity War Part 2, which is 4 years out.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. It's going to be a shame because it would have been really cool to see Hugh Jackman bounce off some of the Avengers, and we all know that's not going to happen unless Fox, grows a heart 3 times its size or whatever. We know we all know Hugh Jackman wants it. He's openly said, I don't know how many times, let's make that happen. How many times he said, I want to play off of that and play in that world for a little bit. And they won't ever do it. They're not as desperate as Sony was. But yeah, so yeah. So what other news we got?
Sticking with the mutant world for a minute. Of course, Ryan Reynolds got hit by a car a few days ago.
Yeah, Jesus.
He's fine. He was uninjured. It was a paparazzi clipped him in a parking lot or something.
Was he in the Daredevil suit or Daredevil? Was he in the Deadpool suit?
No, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's funny
because that would have been wait, is that a cosplayer?
No, it's a funny thing actually. He was wearing a Cable outfit, when this happened.
You know what I thought would have been fun? Because when I went to MegaCon, I saw, of course, a lot of Deadpool.
Sure.
Because I think they have their own little, fan, it's like its own little world, separate. You have your sci-fi people with the Star Trek, the Star Wars. You have your manga and anime people. You have your comic book people there. And I think like Deadpool has its own group of people, because I think I saw a genre of every single kind with the Deadpool. So I thought, how fucking cool would have been. And if he doesn't do this, he'd be crazy. If he doesn't walk around, of course, for him it would be Comic-Con in San Diego, but he has to go as Deadpool, walking around the floor, just looking,
being Deadpool,
and being Deadpool, exactly. So when I saw a few of them, I was like, how cool would it be if that was actually Deadpool walking around, I'm sorry, Ryan Reynolds, walking around. And we've talked about this before. The more I see a Deadpool, the more I'm like, yep, that is exactly the tone. That's exactly the look. That's exactly what I want to hear. Ryan Reynolds is saying all the right things. I'm trying not to get excited about it because I honestly don't even care that much about Deadpool, but they're nailing it. They're nailing everything I'm reading about it. And he even had like I forgot what it was, but he had some smart ass answer about about getting hit by a car. But yeah, it's perfect. Or he said, what was it? Hold on. I'll come back to it. I forgot what he said. He was asked a question, something to do with Vancouver, and never mind. We'll get back to it. He said something about only if they bring some TV show back he would do something, and it was some ridiculous thing that Deadpool was in. I don't know, but go. Let's move on. I completely forgot what he said, but yeah, he's been like in character so much. I forgot what the article said. It just made me laugh because the way he answered the reporter, he was like, only if you bring beachcombers back or something like that. Like it totally caught her off guard. She was like, "What?" but yeah. So what other news we got movie wise?
What else we got here? I think that the Power Rangers movie has found its director.
Oh, who?
Dean Israelite. He directed Project Almanac this past year or whenever it was.
Oh, well, let's get to that in just a second. I just saw the thing I was talking about.
Oh, you found it? Okay.
Yeah, I found it. Okay, so the Vancouver CBC wanted to talk to him. I guess they tweeted him and was like, "Hey, do you have a minute to talk to us about what happened with the incident?" And he replied back, "Put beachcombers back on the air and I'll call." So like I guess it's some long running joke. I don't even know, but yeah. So anyway, we'll go to we'll go back to the Power Rangers thing. Yeah, no. So what did he direct before?
Project Almanac. It was the found footage like time travel movie from it was the next one that spun out of it's like, hey, remember how good Chronicle was? We're gonna do a lot of movies like that suck because this one was good and people liked it, and we don't know how to continue to do that.
Okay, I know Project Almanac. I'm looking at it right now.
I'm pretty sure that's the one I think it is. If it's not, I'm gonna feel really stupid.
Yeah, no, I mean it looks exactly like that other one you just mentioned.
Yeah. It was like I never saw it, so I may be very wrong in saying it was an awful movie, but I mean it was like it came off the heels of Earth to Echo, and I was like, oh great, a found footage ET, that's what we need. This to me seemed like another kind of similar, like, hey, teenagers and found footage and now time travel. The idea was a little, at least, interesting. I've actually been meaning to give it a look just because I try to give these things the benefit of the doubt, largely just because of Chronicle. Because when I first heard about it, it's like, hey, it's a found footage kind of superpower movie. I was like, well, that just sounds awful. Right.
And then it's because of Paranormal Activity, which is the best date movie, by the way. but yeah, I actually I like those kind of films. I like the found footage if they're done right, though. Yeah. Like there's a lot of bad found footage movies, and people give me shit all the time. I liked Cloverfield for what it was. I totally liked it.
I was alright with Cloverfield.
Right. No, people gave me so much shit when they were like, what do you even, didn't even say the name of the trailer, and I'm like, that's the point. It's a film where you're supposed to ask questions, and they're like, oh, you and your loss. So I was like, yes, it's J.J. Abrams. I was like, it's exactly what I want. Like, I'm tired of every time I see a trailer, they show me the whole goddamn monster. Like, what's the point on seeing a film when you see the whole monster in the trailer? There's
or
no
how
like it doesn't no nothing builds up to it.
or how many trailers do we see now? Which
Right.
the answer is all of them. Where it's like after you go see the movie, you're like, oh, I recognize this climactic scene here at the end because it was 20 seconds into the freaking trailer.
Right, exactly. And I mean, we can even say that about the new Ant-Man trailer. Like, I loved the new Ant-Man trailer, but there's parts in it where I'm like, yep, that's going to be the final scene.
Yeah.
Like, I'm calling it right now.
Sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm even kind of like, this isn't in that in that field. It's kind of in the ballpark, I guess. I kind of wish that Netflix did not show Daredevil's outfit because, we're going to talk about the first 6 episodes, at the end of the show. They don't show his Daredevil outfit in it, but if you just go onto Netflix and you look at the picture, it's there, and it's like, oh shit.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it wasn't. I mean, this is a kind of thing that's like it wasn't a surprise, really.
Right,
it's like, hey,
yeah.
everybody can, everybody can do a quick Google search for Daredevil and see, oh,
True.
the outfit looks like this. It's in the subtleties of it, and it's in the realism of. But yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, no, totally, and that's kind of why I liked Cloverfield. It was like the found footage, kind of like you felt like it's the same thing I say about Paranormal Activity. You're on the ride, you're on that roller coaster with them, you're there in that space, and you're experiencing it with them. If it's done right, it has to be done right, or it's boring, and it's boring for like a lot of the audience because. I don't know. That's a whole nother thing. A lot of people, when they go see films, it's like they go to see a film in the same mindset as they see every film, and that's not how you're supposed to.
Agreed.
Supposed to take it in. Yeah, you're supposed to go see an animated film with the mindset that you're going to see an animated film. If you go there the whole time and you're like, if you go and see Up and you're like, nope, that shit can't happen. The balloons on the house, it's ridiculous. This is childish. you would be the most miserable person in the world. And I think some people go see superhero films with like they're going to go see a fucking Departed or something. Like they're going to go see Martin Scorsese, and they're like, no, this is childish. Why am I? It's like, what? If I went and saw a Martin Scorsese film and I thought, where's this superhero? I would be pissed off too. Like, you have to go to see films in a certain mindset and a certain understanding of what you're seeing. And I think that's lost on some people. So when like you go see Paranormal Activity, like
you go in expecting to see a horror movie, and so you leave tremendously disappointed.
Exactly, but you have to have a, what do you call it?
Open mind.
Not open mind, but you have to what do you call it? Where like it's fake, but you have to go along with it.
A suspension of disbelief.
Exactly, you have to have a certain suspension of disbelief when you see those films. And the thing is when I saw that movie with some people, and even going further with other certain films, at the end of it when there's no credits, and like they look at you and they're like, did this shit really happen? And their mind just goes. That's what it's supposed to do. You're like, holy shit, is that real? And to me, I knew going in it wasn't, but that was kind of the allure of it. That was the whole story. And we won't get into Paranormal Activity too much real fast, but the reason why that movie became so popular was because Steven Spielberg got his hands on it halfway through the film. The power went out at his place, and his door was locked in his study where he watches films. And he freaked out. He literally freaked out. He couldn't get out. He picked up his phone. He called whoever's on his number to call, probably the guy at his gate, to come unlock the door for him. He took the film. He went to the people who had him view it, and he said, let's do this. I want to produce it. Let's put it out there, because this film freaked the hell out of me, because he got invested in it in more ways than one. So that's what I'm saying. Like those kind of films, I don't even know where we went on this tangent.
Proving that even the greatest minds screw up colossally every once in a while.
Oh yeah, no, totally. But it's those kind of films you have to like be in the mindset of that when you go see it, and where we how do we Power Rangers? But yeah. So the director of that made a film kind of like you know, but yeah, there's been a lot of those found footage. I mean, even Project X was like that found footage kind of, and some of them are not done right. Some of them are. So it's gonna be
No, 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 no,
interesting.
no, no, no,
The
no, no,
thing that
no.
I'm excited about is I don't know any of this guy's work. I'm in. Like that's better than going, oh, here's a director who you just know makes shit. That's where I'm like, okay, because everyone kind of starts somewhere. Everyone, makes films that not too many people see, and then they make that big one. So it's Power Rangers. I mean, what? There hasn't been anything Power Rangers, anything interesting whatsoever to me, at least, since the 90s. So hey, they're making a new Power Rangers film. I will be there to see it.
There you
So
go.
that's all I need to
And I
know.
think that they picked the right director for what they're going for. They want
Right.
somebody who had like a teen-ish kind of bend to their filmography. And granted, I think he's done that and like one other film that I'd never heard of. But it was
Right.
like this was the kind of guy they needed for this. It's
Yeah,
hey,
and
I'm
it
all
keeps the
for it.
budget down too, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are we? Here
What
we
other
are.
news we got? Wow, we got so
Um,
much more to talk about.
Yeah, we really do. Gremlins has a writer.
What?
The Gremlins reboot has a writer. It
How?
is, yeah, it is Carl Ellsworth, or Ellsworth. I don't know. He wrote the Goosebumps movie with Jack
Oh,
Black.
never saw it.
It's well, I don't think it's out yet. Is it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I
That
remember
was-
the TV show, and I mean that was cool, but the books is what I really remember. I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
begging my parents to take me to Walden Books or whatever Books a Million or whatever it was, and I would pick up the books, and I never read all of them, but oh, I loved the Goosebump books. But yeah, so Gremlins, sorry.
Yeah, so he's going to be writing it, and Chris Columbus, who directed the original, is going to be producing it.
Wait, the
and-
guy who found America?
yes,
What?
that Christopher Columbus will be producing the reboot of the movie that he made.
No shit.
Yeah. And he'll actually be co-producing it with Steven Spielberg. Hey man, I'm just reading them.
Is this an April 1st like article that you pulled up? Like,
Boy, I wish, but no, this was
Christopher
like,
Columbus, Steven Spielberg, and some guy, the guy who wrote Goosebumps, is making a Gremlins film. Okay, all right, I'm in.
and it will go on to prove that even 30 years later, people are still so stupid they can't follow two simple directions.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure this will get its own cinematic universe.
Oh,
We will see a Gremlins film with female Gremlins, a Gremlins film with male Gremlins, and then we will see them spin off and fight each other down the road, just like Ghostbusters and Marvel and everything else.
I just want to see this is just me. I just want to see if we're gonna do a Gremlins cinematic universe. I absolutely demand Gremlins versus Furbies.
Oh, I remember Furbies. Those are those little robot.
And they're
talking-
back. And they're back. Speaking of things that were re-released,
Okay.
we have new Furbies.
Wow, I'm surprised they haven't made an iPad app that's called Furby where you can have it. Don't you doesn't it learn languages or something?
Yes, it does.
I'm pretty sure my aunt or whatever thought that was the devil. Because it would just do gibberish and then something would say, "Feed me." You're like, "Whoa, what the fuck? I thought you were a child's toy, and now you're speaking English. How did you learn that?"
Our old Furby that still has its original 15-year-old batteries in it will occasionally
Jesus.
wake up, and it scares the hell out of me every
Yeah,
time.
they are creepy.
They really are.
Yeah,
So,
I'm surprised they
yeah.
haven't made a Gremlins themed, Furby, but yeah, man, that's cool.
I almost want to say they did a Gizmo Furby.
They had to have. It looks too similar.
Yeah.
It only makes sense.
We're finally going to round out the movie news. I do have one more piece,
Okay.
and it's a good lead in to kind of go into to TV if we want to go that way. The Dark Tower is finally again going to be getting an adaptation.
Oh wow!
Uh,
Have you read that series?
I have not. I started to Once Upon a December and and that was so long ago. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah, years ago for me too. I started the first one, and I kept hearing it gets good the second one,
Yeah.
but I forgot what I was doing around the time, but I got lost in other things and I didn't I didn't end up finishing it. I think I still own it, but that's cool. I mean, I've
Yeah.
always heard good things. I heard, I mean, just look, because I see all the art all the time, and I know people love like the art of that, like it's the cowboy and it's kind of fantasy or whatever, and it looks super cool. So all I ever see from that is like a lot of desert, a guy in a cowboy suit, and a big tower.
Yeah.
That's it, like in roses or something. Like
Yeah.
so I don't know what that world is.
That's
So that would be cool. I
it's
mean, I'm surprised it's not going to be a TV series like
well,
Netflix or something.
well, hang on here, because there's going to be a film series that Sony is going to finance and produce and whatnot, and there is going to be a companion TV series
Okay,
that MRC is going to co-fund and produce.
okay, maybe I'm having deja vu. Didn't we hear about this a while ago
And it
that they
fell
were going to
through.
do a movie and then a TV show and then it was going to lead into the second film?
And it was like a year or 2 years ago, I remember. Yeah,
Yes.
and then like it fell apart.
Right.
So
Okay.
we've come back to it again.
Okay. Yeah, it seems the only people kind of doing that well right now is Marvel. Like Marvel, their Agents of Shield blended really well into the movies. Like I remember seeing Captain America, and the next week the events from Captain America happened in the TV show, and it had effects in it. Like
Yeah,
the story completely changed after that. And I hope they continue with that. I'm sure Agents of Shield, the same thing's going to happen when Avengers 2 drops. It's going to be right around the same time as their season finale, I believe, or close to it, kind of like last year.
yeah. Well, and I mean the thing is, especially when we get to Civil War, that's
Yeah.
that's gonna have major implications.
Oh. And Inhumans, I mean, they're already Inhumans in spoiler alert for Agents of Shield, but those are Inhumans, and like that film isn't for years out. So
Exactly.
they're going to be living and breathing in the television world before they have their own movie series, before we see Vin Diesel in there. So that's cool. But yeah, man. So how do we get
I
back
think
to the tower, Dark Tower? That's cool though. I mean, that's one series I just haven't really gotten into. Just we live in a world with so much stuff to consume and so little time, especially if we want to have any sort of social life. It's super hard. But yeah, no, I'm glad that's going to be a series. That's the kind of same thing with Game of Thrones. That was a series that I heard about. I actually probably heard more about Dark Tower, but Game of Thrones was another one where I kind of heard about, never got into it, and then when the TV show came out, I'm like, why did I not read this?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, and that's another thing. You've read it too, Name of the Wind. That's another series when I think if that, because it's got to be made. Maybe I know FX has the rights to it, but if someone does it justice, that's another one where I think people will go, wait, this was a book, I have to read this.
Exactly. It would because it's oh man, we could do a whole.
Yeah.
We've
We
already run almost 2 hours, and we could do two more just on the Kingkiller Chronicle. Like.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure we should just do a podcast by itself with that, and just talk about it in that world and what we want from it, TV or movie or whatever wise. But yeah, man, like you said, it's been 2 hours, so we should probably get going from movies and get right into
Well,
TV.
we are finally done with movie news.
Right. Well, let's get through the fast TV stuff, and then we'll get into Daredevil and Game of Thrones.
Fast stuff, which is good because two of these pieces of news have no details to them whatsoever.
Okay.
Agents of Shield will have another spinoff.
What?
Like,
Of who?
Marvel is working to do another spinoff at ABC, and that's all we know.
So
That's it.
okay. I don't know a character on there that I would like to see spun off.
Yeah, that's.
Okay, so Agent Carter's considered a spin-off of Agents of Shield?
Well, it's not. I don't know if they would consider it a spinoff. A tie-in,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Well, yeah. It's got to be a new character because, I don't know.
There was talk that events towards the end of the season would lay the groundwork for
Okay.
a potential spinoff. So I mean, we'll see. But there were no, like, with the official announcement. It was just kind of, it was a where was it? Entertainment Weekly, I think, where it was Marvel developing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. spinoff at ABC. And for as much text to the article as there was, the headline pretty much said everything there was to be said.
Right, yeah. Now, I mean, we all know the Netflix stuff is going to intertwine with each other and it's going to intertwine with the movies. But is ABC going to intertwine with Netflix? That's kind of, I mean, they could. They are part of the same company.
Sure.
So yeah, that's going to be interesting. It's almost like Netflix is going to be like what was that line of Marvel Comics? It was the something Night.
Max, is that what you're looking for?
The Max. There was another one. Yeah, the Max series, and then the something Night. I thought.
Oh, Marvel Knights. Yeah. Marvel Knights. Yes.
Marvel
yes.
Knights,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
It seems like Netflix is the Marvel Knights Max series, where ABC is like, here's our family-friendly, Monster of the Week, kind of shows.
Yeah.
So that's cool. What's the other news going on?
MTV2, because they're always on the cutting edge, is reviving, and I kid you not, Celebrity Deathmatch.
Okay. It makes sense. There's a lot of celebrities out there now that aren't really celebrities but are on MTV and all these other things. Like, they should call it reality star deathmatch.
Yeah, and
I bet people would like that. The MTV audience.
If any MTV network is hurting for programming, may I suggest music videos?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's. I mean, why even call it MTV or MTV2 or anything like that anymore? But okay. So Celebrity Deathmatch, got it. So, and then we're gonna have what was it? Singled Out. We'll just get Chris
Hardwick back.
We'll get Chris go back there. But okay, so Celebrity Deathmatch. Anything else? Any other news going on?
And some sad news. Fox is producing a remake of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, okay. See, that's something I never got into. I know people are in love with it. Like, don't you go to the theater and you yell at the screen or something?
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, no, I've never. My brother actually just did that recently with his girlfriend, and I was like, "So how was it?" And he was like, "I fell asleep." And I was like, "How'd you fall asleep? Weren't there people yelling at the screen or something?" He's like, "I don't know. There's cross dressers, and I passed out." I was like, "Okay, I don't understand that, but that's that. I've seen that in pictures."
We call that Saturday night.
Right? Yeah, and so I've never seen the movie.
But it's. The idea is like, and it's not going to be a live musical. It's not going to be like NBC's been doing, thank God.
Oh, okay.
But the idea is like they're going to remake this. And I just, aside from the whole, it's not just like remake shock. It's not like, oh, they're remaking something. It's like, you can't, it's such a period thing. Like you couldn't do The Breakfast Club now.
Yeah, no, that would be weird.
Yeah, and that's just kind of my take on it. Like, there are some things that belong to certain eras.
Oh, period. Yeah, totally.
If they wanted to take that story and do, like, a sequel or like, a spiritual successor to it or something, that would be an entirely different thing. But they're going to remake it, and Kenny Ortega will be directing it. He's known to most people as the guy who directed the High School Musical movies.
Okay, so it's musical, right?
I agree, but yeah. I like Kenny because I know him better as the guy who directed a little more than a dozen Gilmore Girls episodes.
Oh, okay. Yes, I never saw that series either.
I'm a huge fan. Like I wave that flag. I'm not ashamed of that. But,
Gilmore Girls, was that on WB or was it CW?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I watched some WB shows. Like I saw One Tree Hill. That was, I think, after Dawson's Creek. Never got into Dawson's Creek, but I saw One Tree Hill and then Smallville and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah.
And it's on Netflix too. So if anybody wants to check that out, it's a good show. The writing was clever. It kind of fell off the last season or two. It ran 7 seasons, but it's a good show. I like that show. But
right.
So that concludes the TV news, unless you have any.
Right. Yeah. No. What was the other show around that time? Was it Felicity?
Oh
Wasn't Felicity around that time?
Maybe, I don't know. That's
I,
one I wasn't
I
familiar
remember
with.
when someone was reading off Damon Lindelof's like you might know him from, and I think it was around the time when he was like going into like Star Trek Into Darkness, where he's already done like huge things, of course Lost and Prometheus and stuff like that, and they're like the guy that brought you Felicity and like Crossing Jordan, Nash's Bridges. And like he wanted to be pronounced as that when he came out. I thought that was hilarious.
Hey,
But
be proud of where you came from.
oh yeah, no, he totally is. He totally is. But yeah, so okay, so we're getting into let's do Game of Thrones and wrap it up with Daredevil. But yeah, did you see Game of Thrones?
I did see Game of Thrones.
Did you see one or did you see all four? Because apparently all four dropped.
All four leaked online, and being that viewing all four of those would require breaking piracy laws, I of course only saw the first one.
Well, that's good because I that's exactly what I am too. And even though I have the means of seeing all four, I don't. I didn't want to be one of those guys. Like because the thing is legally aside, I want to consume them how they want us to consume them. I want to see it weekly. If they gave it to me all at once, sure. And I was surprised HBO hasn't gone shit. What should we just drop all of these at once? Should we just do like Netflix? Because I mean, I think they've come out and they've actually embraced that Game of Thrones is the number one, what do you call it, pirated
show, yeah.
Show, and I shouldn't say embraced, but they've acknowledged it openly, like that's how good our show is, and like I said, I don't want to watch 4 episodes and then wait, 4 or 5 weeks and go, okay, here's the 5th one. No. I want to watch it weekly. I don't want to see it all at once. And but yeah, I'm glad you did that too, because then the hard part now is staying off the internet, because I know some asshole's gonna go on Facebook and go, oh my god, and this again, I haven't seen past episode 1, but I'm just imagining someone's going, oh my god, I can't believe they did that to Cersei, and oh my god, Jon Stark is dead. Like, I don't know if he dies, but I'm just saying, like, some asshole's gonna do that. I'm just gonna be scrolling, looking at my Facebook feed, like, oh cool, mom's doing cool stuff today, and oh, my friends here at the beach, and oh fuck, someone just ruined Game of Thrones. Like, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
What do you mean
liked
Tyrion
it.
got drunk? I don't understand.
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, but I thought it was a good episode. I mean, it's one of those, like, it's Game of Thrones. Like, it's a slow burn. We really don't get that much action. It's all about dialogue. It's all about the tension in the scenes. It's all about the drama, and I thought it was good. I thought it was great. It's starting to set up some things in the show, and I thought it was cool that they started with Cersei, as a kid, and it's one of the first flashbacks I think we have got.
First flashback.
Right, yeah, that was cool. It reminded me a little bit of Lost, where it was like, oh, wait, oh, okay, this character seems familiar. I know who it is. Okay, now I really know who it is. And they're visiting this witch, and the witch is telling her future. Oh, wait, this is Lost. They're on an island, it seems like. I don't know, that was my thought when I saw it. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, she's getting a, like, oh, by the way, in your future, you're going to be surrounded by blood and, all this other stuff. And I was like, yep, that's exactly how it panned out. And I'm sure, that whole fortune teller thing she's thinking is, what's her name? The Rose chick that's there, waiting to marry her son. But, it might be Khaleesi, who knows? But yeah, it's exciting. I liked it. More Tyrion, the better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage steals the show, and it kind of reminds me every time the show comes back on and I see that he's the main, he's the first credited actor. I'm like, yep, this is his show for sure. And yeah, after Sean Bean, got off it, I was like, that he definitely took kind of the ownership of it, and even though it's one of the biggest, best ensemble cast, that I've ever seen, especially like unknowns. How lucky did Game of Thrones get? Like, so many unknowns, and they're fantastic. Like, every single one of them.
Big time.
Right. There's only a few that I've seen in other things, but besides, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was great. I thought it was, the night is dark and full of terrors. Like, I thought it was great. I liked how it went, and I can't wait to see next week.
Yeah, it was a strong premiere. I was
Yeah.
I was I was pleased.
Yeah, I liked the Mother of Dragons, all of her stuff. And I liked that, you see, it seemed like all last season it was like she's the queen bee over there, and now like you see her kind of like go back and forth with her decision making, like, and you see her kind of at her weakest where, well, I mean, not her weakest. We've seen her at her weakest, but in power you see her now struggling with like, what should I do? I have no control over these dragons,
Right. Well,
and
and I
how
mean,
can how can I rule without them?
it's the idea of it's easy to conquer, but it's a whole different ballgame to rule,
Right,
and
and
that's
now she's
yeah.
struggling with that. Like they talk about in in the show, where like, okay, she's freed them, but these people really want their gladiator system, even though it's not okay with her. She needs to realize that this is another world, and that she has to play the politics with them. She has to make them happy,
Yes, but
because even though I think that guy's right. I think she needs to let them have their gladiator rings, and they're free to do it. I'm sure that comes with some gray area where she thinks people are going to still be sold as slaves, but if they want that arena and fight to the whatever, and he's saying that's what made him strong, and that these people are really going to want that, give it to him. Give him the freedom to be able to do that. So I don't know. That's what I see going with her character. She has to do that, or I think that's going to be one of her biggest downfalls if she doesn't. I don't know. I could be all wrong, but it's interesting. It definitely makes you think. And with Tyrion on his way over, spoiler alert, but it's just the first episode. So, but with Tyrion on his way over to meet her, I can't wait for that. We've been waiting for that since the first season, right?
Anybody that's really been watching it would just kind of say once.
Those two worlds just colliding.
Yeah, I would say by the end of the first season, once it was like, oh wait a minute, she's not just a YA for a price. She's a badass. Like
right,
then
yeah.
It kind of became okay. Now we have to see these two interact.
Right, yeah, it's gonna be cool, and I can, I love that whole scene with the spider where he's just like, we know you're not gonna rule. We're not dumb. We know you're not ever gonna sit on the throne. But as an advisor, you would be perfect, and he would be a fantastic advisor, because like he was talking about, like, they need someone that's strong but yet has a heart, and and that mixture is those two characters perfectly. Like, those two characters would be really well ruling, I think. But it's Game of Thrones. That's not how it's going to happen. It's not going to be all roses and rainbows at the end. The right people will get killed, and the wrong people will live. And and it was it really sunk in that the Hound's not there either anymore. See, I was like, God damn it! Like, such good characters not here, and you go back and look at the show, and you're like, all these great characters and all dead. Like, it kind of sucks. But yeah, man. So, but any more you want to talk about Game of Thrones, or?
No, I think I kind of.
Okay.
That puts a pin on it for this week.
Well, we've been going long, and we got just a little bit more to go, so we'll get into Daredevil. I mean, right out the bat, I'll say it. This is my favorite superhero show of all time.
It's exactly what it needed to be.
Oh yeah, just like Batman or whatever it says. Yes, it's what the city needs is him, and you're absolutely right. This is the circle that makes it makes the Marvel circle complete for me. I can't tell you how many of my friends who have been on the side of, oh, Marvel's films are a little bit too family. They're a little bit too, again, these are some of my friends who go see the films expecting, Desperado, I guess. And they're getting a comic book film, but they're like, it's not as mature as I wish it would be. This is the film. This is for them. This is the thing I could point to and go, oh, okay, so you weren't into those family-friendly films that I totally am? go watch this, and
Here's, yeah,
and
here's a
you're
blind
gonna
lawyer that goes out at night and snaps people's legs.
right, and necks are snapped, legs are broken, people are decapitated, like it gets violent as hell, and that's if that's your thing, and this is very well done. And the thing is Daredevil is the character to do that with.
Yes. Yes.
And that's the point. That was my whole ramble about the Fantastic Four. Those characters are not. They shouldn't be down to earth gritty. They should be fantastic. Daredevil should be down to earth gritty, and it has its light moments, and it should. And I've been reading the Mark Waid. It's nothing but light-hearted fun. I'm only like 4 or 5 issues in, and so I'm kind of eating my own words here. But apparently everything before that was dark and gritty, and everything was Frank's stuff. So that's the world it is, and it's gritty and it's dark, and it's what back to my point. It's what Marvel needed it to be. It needed that so it could go, okay, for the people who want a little bit more mature stuff, here you go. It's what Nolan wanted to do with the Batman movies. He didn't have enough time to do it because of the constraint of the films. It's everything Arrow wants to be, but it can't because it's slaved to the CW model of Monster of the Week, teen drama, all pretty people. It's not that at all. There's pretty people in it, but it's not that kind of show. Like I said, it's everything Arrow wants to be. It's everything Chris Nolan wanted those Batman films to be. I wish we had a Batman TV show like that. God, that would be fucking amazing. Imagine that. But we get Gotham instead. But yeah, it's fantastic. So what do you think, man?
Well, here's the thing. I threw this up on Facebook the other day as kind of a teaser for my review, which is really self-aggrandizing in its own right. But it's like, look, the writing on this show is pitch perfect. It tells exactly the right kind of story. It's not hung up on anything that's like pie in the sky, any out there nonsense. It's real. It's down to earth. It's exactly what they said it was going to be, while still maintaining a little bit of that slightly larger than life aura to it. Not enough to say, oh, this is a super. You could have slapped any other name on this, and you would have said, wow, this is like a dark kind of like crime drama.
Right.
This is intense. And then you go, oh, wait a minute, it's Daredevil. And you're like, wow, this is an iteration of Daredevil. Because, when most people think Daredevil, they're still, they're trying to get past Affleck's chin.
Right.
But,
well, hey, that was a good chin.
It was, I know, that was the best part of the movie.
Right.
But, no, but I'm saying, Daredevil as a show has redeemed this character in a sense, and it has established. It was like you said, you now have a Marvel media platform, a Marvel media tent, if you will, that does include something for everybody. This is not a kids show. It's not Game of Thrones gory, but it's not for the faint at heart.
No, it was more gory and graphic than I thought it was going to be, but you're absolutely right. It's nowhere near Game of Thrones when it comes to that. When it comes to when I say mature, I mean like graphic stuff. There's a side boob that's about as much nudity as you get, and the graphic nature, it gets graphic, but it's not every episode, every scene. It's there. It's there, and it's sprinkled throughout it very well. And it was a way for it's something you could tell your parents and maybe even grandparents to watch, and you're not going to go, should they not? Could I sit in the room with them watching this? Absolutely. Yeah, and that's the thing. With Game of Thrones, as much as my grandparents love that show, it's not something I want to sit and watch with them.
Oh, no, absolutely.
So but this I could totally introduce and go, hey, me, mom, papa, here you go. let's watch the first episode, and if they like it, great. And usually they do, and that, like I got them into Lost that way and a bunch of other shows, and I could totally introduce them to this, and they'd be like, oh, this is cool, oh, I like this Ben Urich character, the reporter. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah.
Fisk, amazing.
Oh,
and
Vincent D'Onofrio's Fisk is just exquisite. He's absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah, and he has this awkward way of, like, he speaks very well, but you can tell he shakes his hands constantly. He has this nervous twitch about him, and he has this he steals the scene every and that when we were going into this, I thought, it's Netflix, I'm going to give it a chance because most of the things they do is great, not just good, but usually it's great. And I didn't know, I was hoping, please don't be villain of the week, please don't be villain of the week, and it wasn't. It was Fisk the whole way through. Spoiler, I guess. There's things that happen, but it mainly, I mean, I guess we might get into some spoiler territory, but he's kind of the main big bad guy throughout it, and I liked that. I liked that it was one big story.
It's an arc. Is exactly
it's an arc,
what it is. It's an arc. It's not. It takes the time it needs to set up the things that it needs.
Right. Exactly. And
while at the same time, even in some of the other episodes where it's like, oh, we have to go back and we have to look at this, or we need to spend time focusing on this, but it's within the right context and it helps move things forward. It's so well crafted.
Oh yeah, but in the first 3 episodes, you get a good idea of the kind of the main cast.
Yeah.
And people come and go throughout the show, but that's where you kind of get a grounding of, okay, who these characters are. And there's little scenes like what is her name, Karen or Jessica?
Karen. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
you're thinking Jessica because that's who she played in True Blood.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. Yeah. There's like little scenes with her and Ben, like in when it's raining, and that's another thing. I don't know what you would call it, but the cinematography of this, like the way it looks like noir, but not like Frank Miller. Like it is, of course, taken from Frank Miller, a lot of the Daredevil stuff, because of course he's kind of the godfather of it.
Yeah.
But it's in there so slightly that you're like, this looks dope. This looks noir, but not like crazy stylistic noir. It looks like, I don't know, the scenes just look beautiful. Like the little scenes with like I said, with her and Ben just chatting in a taxi cab. You're not gonna get that in the Batman films because it's too much, like just 10 minutes of them talking, and all that character development.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. you're going to get a funny joke and then shooting, laser bullets for, a few minutes. I shouldn't be making fun of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I like the show, but I'm saying it's not that kind of show. It's like, let's have the real conversations and let's, get into the nit and gritty of what's going on around us, like real. And the other thing is, it's you can tell they're setting up to where like the characters they're not safe. And I guess, I mean, we all know Daredevil safe and stuff like that, I guess. But like the character, everyone around him is not safe.
Exactly.
I don't think. Yeah. And we'll kind of keep it spoiler free, but I liked that. I liked that, it has some weight to it, to his actions and the actions of the people around him, especially with Fisk and the people around Fisk. Like, it's a constant theme, and you can tell that they've made it purposely where these two people believe they're doing the right thing.
Yes.
People
Absolutely.
around them are getting hurt for it. And there's that line, Daredevil, I don't want them to dwell on the whole, should I kill, should I not kill? I don't want them to do that. When Batman did that, it's like, okay, you threw him off the roof, okay? There's that one scene, and it's not that spoilers, but where he's like, is he dead? And he listens, and he's like, he'll live. It's like, okay, so you had no idea he was going to die or not when you threw him off. So it's like, don't do that. Don't walk on that type wire of, whatever. and that's not what Daredevil is, I don't think. Like, I mean, I know he's for justice and all that other stuff, but I think he is kind of that character that sometimes crosses the line when it's necessary. He's one of those Max characters, like Wolverine. Wolverine is the guy that you send out to kill somebody when you've expired all other options.
Well, no,
No?
and I'll tell you why. Because of the heavy emphasis of the Catholicism.
Oh, that's true.
You're right. You gotta remember, this is, it's not about what does the audience agree with. It's about this character is a devout Catholic.
That's true. That's true. You're right.
That's kind of, if there's anything that would drag him back from that edge, it's not a sense of right or wrong in a justice sense. It's a moral question.
That's right. Right.
It's not like, oh, I shouldn't kill because killing's bad. It's like, no, I shouldn't kill because I don't want to go to hell.
Right. And and see, that's the other thing is you see some, and I'll save that for the later end of it. But I mean, I can't even talk about that this week. We'll get into the second half of the season on the next episode, and some of the stuff that happens there. But I like what they do in it. I like that. I don't want it to be a constant theme. That's all I'm saying. It's like we've seen that before.
Right.
I don't know how many times with these heroes like that. I mean, it's just like Batman. You can't help but make the comparison. And people have always been making the comparison, between Marvel and DC and Batman and Daredevil. Clearly, Batman's more popular, but this is the other thing I wanted to kind of get to, like the amount of talent, like Stan Lee, Frank Miller, Kevin Smith, Brian Michael Bendis, Ed Brubaker, Mark Waid. It is a who's who of who's wrote this character over the years, and like. I guess he's like the unsung hero kind of to me because I never thought about that. And anytime I've heard about these people's runs on him, it's all been good. And when I look at it, I look back at who the writers were, and it's like, oh shit, those are the main writers.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh wow, it's been good ever since. But he's not a character that you don't go to kids and go, Daredevil. They're like, huh? He's not Spider-Man or Wolverine or Captain America.
Yeah.
But the writing for his stuff is fantastic. Like I said, I went back and read some of Mark Waid's, and I think Mark Waid's kind of take on it was like, all these people before me, literally all of them have made him dark and gritty. I'm going to make it a little bit fun. Now, I've heard some spoilers on it, but bad shit happens. And it's one of those, like, it can't be good for too long. Everything's going to hit the roof soon.
Right.
So I expect that to happen. But I've been really enjoying Mark Waid's, and now I can't help but read it in Charlie Cox's voice.
Sure.
And it's great.
The cast, all of them are fantastic. Charlie Cox's Daredevil is amazing. Eldon Henson, who plays Foggy. I don't know how many people out there are going to look at him and they're not going to remember immediately, oh my god, he was the old kid on the Mighty Ducks.
Right. Yeah. No. That's exactly what
blew my. Once I made that connection, like that blew my mind. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No. It's I've seen him in a few things here and there, like Butterfly Effect and stuff like that. But yeah. No. Mighty Ducks is definitely where I first remember him. And he was. One thing that I thought Charlie Cox does way better than they did in the Nolan film was the gritty voice, where he's like, I don't think he says swear to me, but you know what I mean, that gritty thing.
Well, he doesn't really dip into it. Like he just, instead of going like trying to really mask it, he just drops it like.
Well, he has the voice for it.
Yeah.
Like Christian Bale never had the voice to do it, and it came off so ridiculous that when Charlie Cox does it, it's actually like, okay, he's got the voice for that. He can do that. Where Christian Bale, it was like, all right, now you just swear to me. Like, it sounded so ridiculous. Where Charlie Cox's sounded like, oh, that sounds frightening. Maybe it was just the way they did it. I don't know. But when you can't help but think of those comparisons when you start listening to him do that, and him going, just being a vigilante. It's just like Arrow, it's all the same. Arrow, Batman and and Daredevil. Arrow, of course, in the comics was nothing like these characters, but they made him like that for the TV show, which fits. It's good. It's a fun show. But you can't help but think of the comparison, and I think he does it the best, and he does the wittiness too the best. I think when just the interactions and with am I saying that right?
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson. The chemistry between those two, that was a complete surprise. I didn't know she was on the show. And to see the chemistry between them two, just I wanted to see more scenes with them. Like they played off each other so well, and I can't wait to see more of that. It's just the actors, the show. I can't wait to it's a shame we're gonna have to wait. I hope we don't. I hope there has to be Daredevil next year. I can't imagine. Now I know they're doing Daredevil and another show this year, right?
Yeah, Daredevil and oh, come on, help me here. Not Luke Cage, but Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones, yeah. Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
right.
And it's Jessica Jones this year is the other one they're doing this year.
Okay, yeah. So Jessica Jones will be at the end of this year, and then it's going to be Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Now, I hope that they do Daredevil season 2 next year. Like, I hope it's not. It can't be. I hope it's not. Here's Daredevil. Here's Jessica Jones. Next year, here's Luke Cage. Here's Iron Fist, and then they do Defenders. I hope it's here's Daredevil. Here's Jessica Jones. Here's Daredevil season 2 and Luke Cage. Here's Jessica Jones and Iron Fist, and then that further out you know what I mean? Like we get House of Cards once a year.
Yeah.
I hope they follow that same format, or else I'm gonna be like, come on, we're not. I want more. So I don't want to have to wait 2 or 3 years for another season.
Exactly.
Because I just finished it in a weekend. I can't do that, or I'm going to be pissed. So I hope they follow that kind of format. So it's going to be cool to see them do the Defenders, with all of them together. And like I said, they got to put Punisher in there, or it'd be cool if Spider-Man pops in or something. That would totally fit. And there's I was trying to think what could they do with the Defenders? Like, who would they go against? And there's some hints, I think, in this show. And do you want to go into spoilers now, and we talk a little bit about?
Yeah, we can do some spoilers.
And it's not even really big spoilers because there's not that many in the first few episodes that we haven't kind of already talked about. But yeah, if you haven't seen it at all, might want to tune out now and come back. But yeah, let's go into it. So now. This is a spoiler not just for the first 6 episodes or whatnot, but when they do the Defenders, there's some hints to, I think personally, the Hand and stuff in this show.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm thinking that's what they're going to start to bring in, and I'm trying to think because there was a team up kind of there was a event book not too long ago where it was Daredevil. It was Iron Fist. It was Iron Man. It was the Punisher. Let's see here. Luke Cage, and Spider-Man. And it was like Shadow something or another.
Oh man, all I can think of is
Shadowland.
Shadowland. Yes.
That's it. Yeah, and it was kind of where Daredevil kind of goes bad, right? Like he gets a demon inside of him, something like that. And I could see that. I could totally see that for this because it's. I mean, that series, it's Luke Cage, it's Iron Fist, it's Spider-Man, it's Daredevil, it's Punisher, and it's Moon Knight, why is there not a Moon Knight series?
Because nobody knows who the hell Moon Knight is.
It doesn't matter. Moon Knight's a really interesting character. I think Moon Knight would be perfect for Netflix. He's got that split personality. Well, I think that's what it is now. They've kind of changed what his powers are.
Yeah.
But he is fucking psycho, and that would be so fun to see play out where he thinks he's one character, he thinks he's Captain America one minute, he thinks he's Wolverine the next, he thinks he's Spider-Man, and it would be cool to see that play out where the people he's going against is like, what the fuck's who is this guy? Well, he's crazy, and I don't know. I think it would be an interesting character to do. It falls in that dark, gritty kind of street level superheroes that Netflix is doing. And so I don't know. I think it'd be cool. They have to put the Punisher in there. I would be so pissed if they
You're
didn't.
gonna keep banging this drum, aren't you?
I am. It's too much money on the table. It's perfect. It's Netflix. Oh God. Anyway. But yeah. So like the first 6 episodes, we don't have to get too much into spoilers because there's really not much to spoil, except for that scene where he decapitated the guy with his door. Holy shit.
That was man, and I mean that was just nasty.
That's when I was like, wow, okay, so he took his head off, and then they put him on a slab, and they showed without his head, and the scene where the guy puts his head through the glass and right in his eye. I'm like, oh shit, we're going there. Oh, okay, all right, this is interesting.
Yeah, I mean that was when I was like, okay, he's like, well, you might as well have killed me. I was like, okay, so what's he gonna do? Like jump? What's he gonna do? Oh, okay.
No, the worst thing possible. God. Yeah, and I wanted Daredevil to go, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
That would have been a great scene. Like that would have been like a realistic, like that's how someone would react. Like, are you kidding me? That would have been a great scene. But yeah, no, I mean, I thought that's where when I saw the opening of that episode, I was like, oh, don't be monster of the week. Don't go into here's a guy going around killing people in bowling alleys. But it wasn't. It fit perfectly well into the story. It fit right into the plots that was going on, and it made perfect sense. And it wasn't villain of the week. It was perfect. And by the way, do you want to know what the cameo is for Stan Lee?
Yeah. Where is he?
Okay. I don't know what episode, so you'll have to Google it. But apparently, he is, the front desk for the police station. Where there's a few scenes where they walk in and they see the guy that's kind of on their side, their buddy from school.
I'm betting I know exactly what episode it is.
Okay, I'm not sure, but there's a picture behind him with Stan Lee, and it says like Officer of the Month or whatever,
nice.
And it's his face as a cop. So that's his cameo for Daredevil.
Okay, yeah, I bet I know exactly when that is.
Right, yeah. I mean, what was his scene in the original Daredevil? Did he like help the kid across the street, or he was crossing the street or something like that? Or he's the guy he saved,
he's
right?
He's the guy he saved. Yeah, I think
that's right. That's right, man. It's been years. And you know what I was thinking? Well, we can't get into that because it's the last part of the show. So what I was gonna say, just scratch there. Well, we'll get into that next week. But yeah, no, like the first. Like I really liked what they did with Fisk and what they did with the painting, the white rabbits in the snow, and like you can't help but root for him when he's trying to get that girl. You're like, yeah, okay, all right, and just the way the show progresses, I slowly hate him and I slowly don't like him, but there's scenes where you're just like, how is this gonna end up?
You're sympathetic to this guy sometimes.
You are.
Like you can't help it.
Yeah, and there was a moment where I'm like, is he right? Is he? Of course, in his head, he's believing he's doing the right thing, but he can't be so naive to believe that what he's doing is okay. But does he? It's that he's not the character from the Spider-Man cartoon show where he's like, "Give me Spider-Man," and he slams his hand on
exactly.
fist on the table. He's actually like, he thinks he's doing the right thing, and the means of the way he's going about it is the only way to do it, the only way he knows how to do it, because his childhood and stuff like that. And so yeah, it's I love all the little lines, and do they get into the stuff with the landlord in the first few episodes? Not the landlord, but the lady. I think they do.
Yeah.
Well, they get into Foggy's kind of like he's trying to date Karen, I think, a little bit, and stuff like that. And he's such a cool character. Like he's witty. He's right on the ball. He's funny, and he's what that show kind of needs.
Yeah, he's awkward. He's self-aware of his own flaws.
Right, yeah,
and he just kind of grabs it and runs with it. He knows he's awkward. He knows his jokes are terrible. He doesn't care. He's gonna do it anyway because that's him.
And he's kind of the heart of the show. He's kind of like, when he's in a good mood, they're all in a good mood, and they're all sitting around the table and they're trying to figure out the story. They're trying to figure out what's going on, and he'll make a little joke, and they're avocados
Avocados at law, man.
You're right. Yeah, stuff like that. Like, and that's what that's what those kind of things need. That's one, it's kind of like, and the Dark Knight didn't have much of it, but it's kind of like Alfred in a little ways. Like
in a
you
sense,
need that
yeah.
little bit of humor, that little bit of jokes, and it's perfect so far. And
that had the Avocados at Law episode had my favorite like little Easter egg. And I freaked out when he's like, "Whatever happened to you and that Greek chick?" I was like, "No, he didn't.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. Oh my god,
yeah.
they didn't open that door."
Oh yeah.
Okay, now okay, so I know where season 2 is going.
Wait. So maybe I missed something?
What did you miss?
Wait, what are you talking about? Maybe I'm a little lost now. What are you talking about? The Greek girl?
Oh, you don't know?
No.
Oh, see, I thought you knew.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope. Did you want to?
Yeah, for anybody else that doesn't know, this is a massive spoiler. Elektra.
Oh, Elektra. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew you were gonna either go Elektra or She-Hulk, and I didn't know which one.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Definitely Elektra. Now,
That makes
although
perfect
She-Hulk
sense.
would be interesting.
Yeah, no. Well, see, I thought She-Hulk I thought her name or something would be dropped because they play heavily into each other's stories all the time because they're both, of course, lawyers.
Right.
Like, there's this one scene in the Wade's comic I'm reading, and just to briefly, this will take just 2 seconds, but there's a scene where Captain America jumps in, and long story short, this is right after the Shadowland or whatever, where he's like, "Daredevil, I'm taking you in. Like, you're wanted. I'm gonna take you in." And Daredevil's like, "Why would he be so mad at me? Like, we've had so many times where he knows I'm the good guy, and that's something." I was not in control of myself when that was happening, and then for a second he flashes to him sitting at the bar, him sitting at the bar watching the TV, and it's him being the lawyer against Bucky Barnes, sending him to jail because of what he did as Winter Soldier, and he's like, "Oh, that's right, that's what happened. I put his friend in jail because." Because he went crazy and was the Winter Soldier and was totally not in control. So I don't know. There's little things like that. That's funny. But yeah, no. It's that's the stuff. Like I knew I've read a lot where it's like She-Hulk and I don't know. I'm not really into Elektra character. I don't know much about her. One thing I like that Fisk said. I don't know what the exact quote was. He asked that girl out and. She's like, "No," and he kind of walks away, and she's like, "Wait a second, like, you're not gonna offer to buy every painting in here, because I've had that before." And he was like, "A woman worth
a woman who can be bought isn't worth having."
Isn't worth having. I thought that was a great line. I was like,
Yeah.
yes, he nailed it. Like, that's perfect. But yeah, there's little things like that where you're like, the dialogue's dead on. It's not too comic booky. There's some comic book lines towards the end of the season we'll get into next week. There is some things from Fisk where I was just a little cringe where I was like, "Oh, now he's Kingpin," and but we'll get into that, in the later on, because you start seeing Kingpin come out, and that's kind of, because you kind of wonder, I guess this is in this kind of part of this pocket of the Marvel universe. It's very grounded, it's very punch kick to get what you want. There's and I think there is that line in the show where, like, there's no hammers and magical hammers and men in suits and stuff like that.
It's like one guy took down all of you. It's like, yeah, well, if he had a magic hammer or something, I'd believe you.
Right, exactly. This is that pocket of where, like, it makes sense that Daredevil's big villain is just a big fat guy, that just has a lot of power.
Yeah.
And likes to, he packs a punch. So there's some little Easter eggs here and there about, what the Japanese are and what they want. And, there's some stuff that happens in the 7th episode that has to be for future stuff, because I don't even think they get into it in this season. unless I'm missing something, and maybe we'll talk about that after the
Yeah,
show. Speaking of that, we've talked for too long. We should probably wrap it up here. This is a lot of content. Hopefully you're listening to this over a week's time and, in sections. But there was there was a lot of shit this week. There was a lot of stuff. So, but it was fun. Next week I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. comes back. I think Gotham's back. We got Flash, we didn't even get into. We'll talk about that next week. We got Arrow. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. I am Adam. That is Logan. Captain.
Captain. Captain. Captain. Captain. Captain. Captain.